Yes, the teams are out. Norwich in their bright yellow shirts, Sheffield United in red and white stripes. And I can tell you the Norwich team tonight: Kovacevic in goal, Fisher the right back, Springett the left back, Medic and McConville in the centre of defence, Matson and McLean together in midfield, with McCarmer and Schwartau playing in the wide positions, and Jacob Wright behind Josh Sargent in attack. On the bench for Norwich, keeper Grimshaw, Duffy's back after injury, so is Crescene, Jurasek, Marcondes, Forson and Slimani, along with the youngsters Mundell, Smith and Adalusi. There's no Matthias Kvistgaard, the Norwich City backup striker, who's had a promising start to his Canary career. He's injured, we understand. We hope to find out at full time a bit more about the severity of it. Sheffield United 8 changes from the side that won so well on Saturday. Michael Cooper in goal, Femi Sariki is the right back, Tyler Bindon and Japet Tanganga in the centre of defence, with Harrison Burrows, the Wisbech boy, at left back, Simare and Arblaster in the middle of midfield, Tahith Chong and Callum O'Hare in the wide positions, and quite a front two. They've got Danny Ings, once of Liverpool, of course, a man with 72 Premier League goals, and Tom Cannon, who has just begun finding the net this season for Sheffield United. We're off and running, Norwich in yellow and green, going from left to right as we look at it. Sheffield United defending the goal away to our right-hand side. Delighted to have Ryan Bennett with us for the first time, to see Norwich City in the flesh for the first time this season. Ryan, this has a reputation for being one of the more intimidating championship venues. What's it like to play here as an away team?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, if you can quieten them down, it's quite a nice place to play, to be honest. So hopefully Norwich can do that early within this game.
Takes some doing though, doesn't it, as Matson heads the ball forward for Norwich City. Samari in the midfield for Sheffield United, plays it to Sariki, the right back, who is left on the floor after shoving the small of his back by Oscar Schwartau, but no foul, and Sheffield United end up with possession back all the way to their goalkeeper Michael Cooper, who puts his foot on it, and then with the right foot decides to go long and try and test this Norwich defence for the first time. Springett deals with that one. Matson gets a touch as he goes to ground in midfield, and here's Arblaster. A warm round of applause for Ollie Arblaster, playing for Sheffield United today for the first time since November last year. He's been on the bench a couple of times recently, but he had that ACL injury that's kept him out for just over a year. Chris Wilder's put him back in tonight. Of course, Sheffield United beaten playoff finalists last year, had the lead in that playoff final for a long time as well against Sunderland before going on to lose it. And then Chris Wilder lost his job, but only temporarily. He's back in charge and back down there on the side of the pitch at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United moving the ball around confidently through the midfield, and now Chong, the right winger, gets to test the legs of Norwich's standing left back Tony Springett. Sariki's gone on the overlap, he brings the ball into the penalty area from the right, cuts it back, early chance for Tom Cannon, it's blocked. Fella Matson went to ground in there and Norwich clear it away, and I think we've seen there Ryan Bennett, haven't we? Tony Springett, they know he's a standing left back, they're trying to get at him early, Sheffield United.
They are, and they're going to be key areas tonight, to be honest, with O'Hare and Chong keeping width and also rolling inside. They're two good players at this level who have athleticism in abundance, and they're going to be hard to contain tonight.
0-0, 2 minutes gone. BBC Radio Norfolk, we're at Bramall Lane, watching Norwich City do battle with a resurgent Sheffield United. 4 straight wins for the Blades. They've scored at least 3 in all of them, and they've got Chong wide again on the right-hand side, teasing Tony Springett. Matson coming across to help. Chong's got the cross in, but Kovacevic is there to take it at his near post. It's been a bit of a pattern. I was talking about it with Phil before the game, Ryan, that Norwich have caved in a lot of away games this season when the pressure's been on and the atmosphere's been up. How do you weather those storms?
Well, I think you just got to stick together. I'm sure they've spoke about that before the game as well. They know what they're coming into. They know the sort of. They know the atmosphere, what this is and how the fans can be. So they'll talk about tactics, how they can slow the game down in these sort of situations. This is a prime example from a throw-in, and that's what they're going to need to carry on doing.
Throw-in deep in their left-back position, which Springett will take. Another vote of confidence from the new head coach, sticking with Tony Springett despite Crescene being back fit, although Philip Clement was saying yesterday that after 3 months out, there's no way Ben Crescene can play the full 90 minutes, so he's on the bench tonight. Medic swipes the ball away. Sargent involved in the game for the first time, gets the better of Tyler Bindon on halfway. Now Schwartau takes up the running, and this could be Norwich's first attack. Jacob Wright playing in the number 10 position today, finds McCarmer wide on the right hand side, play back towards Wright on the edge of the box, he's going to have a go, and it swerves just wide of the post and behind for a goal kick, and a promising quick counter-attack there for the Canaries, Ryan.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Schwartau showed good pace there, coming from the outside left to come inside, and hopefully that's positions he can get into, coming back wide, obviously right as the shot there, and hopefully they can keep getting in positions to create them dangerous opportunities and ultimately end up taking one.
Big chance for Jacob Wright tonight. It's only the 13th league start of his entire career, and he hasn't started since August when he was sent off under Liam Manning against Middlesbrough. Served a 3-match ban for a bad challenge and never got back in the starting lineup. And there's been Norwich fans calling for Jacob Wright to be playing Ryan Bennett, but I suppose when the team's losing, you're always a better player when you're not in the team, aren't you? You're always the solution.
Sometimes it's the best place to be. I found myself there sometimes. But yeah, he has a good reputation.
Norwich have got in a bit of a tangle here. The ball's hit Kellen Fisher on the back, and then Callum Maher's nicked it off him. But Norwich, with a bit of help from Wright, are able to retrieve the situation. But they can ill afford to give the ball to Sheffield United in those sort of positions. The Blades back in control of the ball with Bindon at the centre-back. A bit of a rocky start to his Sheffield United career, but in the starting lineup tonight, with a couple of injuries and illnesses at the back there for the Blades. Josh Sargent got the better of him earlier on in that first tussle between the two. It's goalless on BBC Radio Norfolk. Tanganga, the former Spurs defender, sweeps the ball forward again, looking for Chong, who clearly has been told to stay wide out on the right-hand side. Sariki joining him on the overlap once more. Springett has gone to try and close the angle, but Chong will bend the cross into the penalty area, headed away from Kellen Fisher on the edge of the 6-yard box and away for a corner. All the danger, or a throw-in I should say, all the danger is coming down that Sheffield United right.
It is, yeah, that's an area they're going to have to shore up, you know, maybe with the defensive midfielder coming across to help him.
Burrows coming forward from left-back for Sheffield United. Got both goals in this fixture last season. Sheffield United winning it 2-0. Quick passing on the edge of the box. Ings on the left-hand side. Cuts it back into the danger zone. Matson's there to clear. And it's a throw-in for Sheffield United. 5 minutes in, 0-0. Just early signs that the home team are just getting up a bit of a head of steam now. Philippe Clement wearing that black baseball cap as usual. Tall man on the side of the pitch, urging his team on, urging them to just make sure they're not caught out. They can ill afford to go behind early on in this game. Here's Tanganga, the defender, signed from Millwall in August. Plays it up towards halfway. Good challenge from Kenny McLean. It's bounced out of play off O'Hare. That will be a Norwich throw. Chris Wilde has picked the ball up down there and is doing his best to look shocked that the throw-in has gone the other way, but the contact was right in front of him, so he must have known. Here's McConville at the back for Norwich City. Passes it along the edge of the penalty area to Medic, who's been brought back into the starting lineup today. Medic manages to find a lovely ball into the midfield there to Kenny McLean. McLean poking it up towards Sargent, but doesn't get enough on it. It's cut out by Sheffield United. A couple of quick passes from the Blades. The move breaks down, and Norwich have it back with Fisher deep inside his own half, and back to McConville. Yeah, a sickness bug apparently, or illness going through the Sheffield United camp. Former Norwich player Sam McCallum not involved today. Sidney Peck, the midfielder, who scored 3 in 3, he's not playing. McLean's just floated a ball forward there for Jacob Wright to try and get on the end of, but Sariki read the danger, came round and heads it back to his goalkeeper.
He's found himself in some high positions, Jacob Wright, you know, and looking at them now, they're sort of pressing with that front two. And again, if they can get some control in the middle of the pitch and find him in these positions, then it could lead to some good chances for him.
Sheffield United with the goalkeeper Cooper playing a long ball up the field. Medic gets his head to it initially, Springett then with the header up in the air. McLean and Matson trying to introduce a bit of composure at the back for Norwich City. In the end, it's McLean who passes the ball out of play via a deflection, and Norwich get the throw in. So we've been playing for 7 minutes. We'll keep you up to date with any goal flashes from elsewhere tonight. It's the FA Youth Cup as well tonight at Carrow Road. Norwich making their bow in that competition for this season. Last time I saw they were 1-0 down against Stoke. Competition that Norwich have got a good pedigree in. 1-0 down at Carrow Road tonight. That one was a 7 o'clock kickoff. Norwich with McConville in his own penalty area. Had a look at Kovacevic there, the goalkeeper deciding not to come and letting McConville deal with it. Remember, Norwich only 1 win in their last 15 matches. That's why they are in the bottom 3. Chong gets to the ball before Schwartau. There's a nice touch from the young midfielder Arblaster, who scored at Carrow Road last season. Such an impressive start to his Sheffield United career, but now back in the side after a serious knee problem. He's got it on halfway here, Arblaster. Norwich happy just to drop off and allow the Sheffield United players to have it around the halfway line. Here's Tanganga, and here the Norwich City supporters away to our left-hand side, just under 800 of them, trying to get the noise levels going with a bit of on-the-ball City, but they're watching Sheffield United build an attack. Ings with a reverse pass into the penalty area. Harrison Burrows trips over as he came around the blind side of McConville, and then a good tackle from Fisher, and it's a Sheffield United throw. I'm not sure McConville realised that Harrison Burrows was coming up behind him there, did he?
No, he didn't, but I think Harrison Burrows knew exactly what he was doing, looking for the contact, which didn't come, and just stumbled.
Now he's poor throw-in from Burrows. He's giving it straight to McCarmer, who plays it up towards halfway, and Sargent's been caught there and has gone down. There's no foul. Jacob Wright very nearly latched onto it anyway. The Sheffield United have swept it up and gone back to their goalkeeper Cooper. Pleased to say Sargent is up on his feet, and there's always a sharp intake of breath whenever any Norwich City player goes down for any length of time. Given their injury record this season, particularly when it's Josh Sargent. If you're just joining us, you might not have heard that Matthijs Kvistgaren's missing tonight for Norwich, not involved in the squad. We understand that is an injury problem, and we'll try and find out more about that at full time when we speak to Philippe Clement. Neat backheel from Danny Ings to release the dangerous O'Hare on the left-hand side. Kenny McLean's having none of it. Had hold of O'Hare's shirt and wasn't letting go until he'd wrestled him to the floor. And it's a Sheffield United free kick on the left-hand side. 9 minutes in, 0-0. What have you made, Ryan Bennett, of how Norwich have acquitted themselves so far?
Yeah, it's been 50-50. I think Sheffield United dominated the ball a little bit. It's notable that sort of Norwich are sort of setting up in defensive phases in sort of 4-4-2 with Wright jumping to press as a 2 with Sargent at the top end of the pitch, and that's when O'Hare can spin in them channels and obviously create them spaces. So that'll be an area they need to sort of contain.
And they've got to stay switched on from these set-piece situations as well. It's on the left wing. It's halfway inside the Norwich half. There's an opportunity for Tanganga and Bindon and others to go forward. It's going to be swung into the penalty area by Burrows. It's a Norwich head that wins it, but it's still around the edge of the penalty area. In the end, it's headed into the 6-yard box. Oh, and Kovacevic was very slow to come for it. Eventually, he did react, and it was headed wide via a deflection for a corner, but it bounced up almost in slow motion on the edge of the 6-yard box there. I think Tom Cannon it was who made a play for it for Sheffield United. And Kovacevic just didn't, he seemed reluctant there, didn't he, to actually come and deal with it, and in the end he did and put it out for a corner.
Yeah, there was obviously a chance there for Sheffield United. The keeper ends up coming out to deal with the situation, but you know, it could have been dangerous. Obviously letting it go over the centre-back's head there is probably something you want to see him deal with, but I think he got caught a little bit flat-footed and square in that situation.
He's not usually slow to come off his line, Kovacevic, but he was caught there. But he dealt with it in the end. He's just feeling his left shoulder, which is a potential concern, especially as he's got to deal with this corner. He's just like a fast bowler. He's about to come on. He's just twirling his arm around from the shoulder. Burrows delivers the corner from the left for Sheffield United. It goes into a crowd of players, bounces goalwards, and Kovacevic is able to dive on it. Didn't have his best game on Saturday, Velan Kovacevic. Certainly the first Watford goal, the first Watford equaliser. Did well to save the first header, but perhaps could have held it and instead pushed the ball straight out, and it was headed back past him. But there are other games where he has saved Norwich this season. Now Maatsen has the chance to carry the ball forward from halfway for Norwich City. Is this a rare attack in the early stages from the Canaries? Kellen Fisher on the right-hand side. Plays the ball back to Kenny McLean, who's just dropped a little bit deeper. Threads it up towards right on the edge of the penalty area. Quick feet to Sargent. He's tackled. Cleared by Sheffield United, but Norwich, in their bright yellow shirts and green shorts and yellow socks, gather it again. 0-0. 11.5 minutes played on BBC Radio Norfolk at Bramall Lane. Schwartau getting involved on the left-hand side. Plays it back to Tony Springett, who's in at left-back again today. Now Medic on halfway to Maatsen, who takes a touch and then looks to work it towards McCarmer on the right-hand side. But it's all a bit rushed there from Norwich, and it's been played out of play for a throw-in.
To be fair, I think the pass that Maatsen receives there is not great. You know, I think his first touch is stretching, and that makes him hurry up the pass. And you know, at that point he's tried to come out wide and just overhit his pass, but I think the pass into him was not the greatest there, to be honest.
Certainly the way this game has started, you can understand it. It looks as if Norwich City have done a lot of thinking about how they're going to defend and not so much about how they're going to attack. We haven't seen as much of them as an attacking force as we did in the early stages at Watford. Certainly they've got to throw in half the pitch here though.
Yeah, and that's notable, to be honest. You've got the two sitters, and you know, I think they're finding it hard to find the sort of fine balls between the lines, with Sargent being high and Wright just drifting onto sides, and rather than having that ball straight square through the middle.
McConville up towards Wright, clever flick on towards Sargent with his back to goal. He's about 30 yards from goal, tries to give it to Wright, who misreads the pass, and then Norwich get a free kick. Fisher won the challenge, but the referee has pulled it back. I'm not sure whether it's for the earlier one on Sargent, or maybe O'Hare just left a foot in there on Fisher as he won it. So Norwich have got a free kick on the right-hand side, and a chance to perhaps seriously work Michael Cooper, the goalkeeper, for the first time. Made his Sheffield United debut at Carrow Road in the early part of last season, and an idea of just how well they did last year. Cooper, he's played 65 games for Sheffield United and he's conceded 60 goals. The bulk of them, those appearances last season, of course, when they reached the playoffs. Norwich free kick, 0-0. Wright is going to take it from the right-hand side. He's going to curl it towards the Sheffield United penalty area, headed up in the air by a defender, and then two defenders go for the second ball, and it bounces out on the Norwich left here for Schwartau by the corner flag. He works it back to Tony Springett. Behind him is Kellen Fisher on the left-hand side. High looping cross from him. McConville gets underneath it, heads it down. But it's easy for the goalkeeper to pick up. And Cooper launches the ball up the field early. Maatsen's got himself positioned well on halfway to make sure that United can't break, and it remains 0-0. It was a high looping, difficult cross that Fisher put in, wasn't it? I'm not sure McConville could have done much more there.
It was, yeah. He's had to generate all the pace, which is always difficult. You know, we've seen that happen plenty of times, and he done well to get his head to it. That's when you need other players alive in the box that are rushing onto that ball that he does head back across.
Maatsen for Norwich City gives it away, tries to find the ball through the middle, but it was cut out. It was picked up though by Norwich at the second attempt with McLean and now Fisher on halfway. Callum Fisher to Maatsen and now back to McConville. Norwich doing a good job of just slowing it down again. Nothing like the pace of the game we saw at Vicarage Road on Saturday, which was a real helter-skelter, frantic all the way through. Sargent making life difficult for Tanganga. Simare just dropping in front of the Sheffield United back four to help out, and the Blades have it. Clever turn there from Burrows, the left back. In today for Sam McCallum, the ex-Canary, who must be one of those players who's ill, because he's been playing for Sheffield United, but he's not in the squad tonight. Here's Arblaster playing the ball forward, well cut out by McCarmer. Norwich has still got some work to do though, and it's Callum Fisher who shows some composure to bring it out of the back line for Norwich City. Central position now, Fisher. He's gone past Simare. It's a really good run this from Fisher, and he's gone past Burrows, and he's released McCarmer, who bursts into the penalty area to the right of goal, plays it across, it's cut out. Great run from Fisher, comes back to McCarmer on the right-hand side. McLean just behind him. McLean will try and work room to get the ball forward for Norwich City. He's 30 yards out. Maatsen goes down, no foul. Schwartau feeds Sargent in the penalty area. Back out to the edge of the box, and Schwartau, who digs out a shot. It's blocked. Comes out to Callum Fisher, who started this attack off. Hits a shot! Oh, the keeper tips it over the bar. Norwich have a corner. Callum Fisher's never scored for Norwich City, but that was a decent effort, and he started that move off with a terrific mazy run forward, didn't he?
It was a great run, you know. He was inside the pitch, to be honest, and he drives straight through the middle. Comes out, plays a good ball wide, and continues, and they were on the regain as well. When they lost possession, they jumped straight back on at the edge of the box, which then falls to him and enables him to have the shot that was tipped over. So that's good play, and Norwich have built up a little bit of momentum over the last couple of minutes, and hopefully they can continue that and make hay while the sun shines and take one of these chances.
Game 74 for Norwich City tonight for Callum Fisher. We still wait for the first goal, but he has won a corner. Can Norwich make something of this? 0-0 at Bramall Lane, 15 minutes gone. Corner from Jacob Wright, curled in. Oh, McLean got up with the header and puts it over the top. Elsewhere tonight, Southampton lead West Brom 1-0. Norwich play Southampton in the next game at Carrow Road on Saturday lunchtime, so it doesn't get any easier, because just like Sheffield United, Southampton seem resurgent after a winning start, and that's the way it goes sometimes, isn't it, Ryan? At Norwich, it feels like they're catching everybody at the wrong time.
It is, yeah. There's no easy games at this level, but again, obviously new manager, hopefully they've had their little bounce for Norwich's sake, and they can go there again and get the result.
That's Ryan Bennett, former Norwich City centre-back, who's watching this one with us on BBC Radio Norfolk at Bramall Lane, and watching his former team go toe-to-toe with the Blades at the moment. But here's Harrison Burrows for Sheffield United. Fisher doing a good job on O'Hare, has help as well from Wright, and Norwich have won the ball back. Good play from those two younger players for Norwich City. Here's Kenny McLean, who with the left foot puts one of those trademark balls over the top to try and send Sargent away, and Sargent knew what was coming and has raced onto it. Right edge of the penalty area here, the American. Tees up McCarmer on the right-hand side. McCarmer will curl the cross in, it's headed away. McLean slightly on his heels, couldn't get to the ball, and O'Hare has played it into the Norwich half, but Medic will come across and should deal with this for Norwich City, and does. Puts a high one forward. Tanganga brings it easily back into Sheffield United's possession though, and here's O'Hare. Quick passing from Sheffield United. Tom Cannon holding the ball up, but then a poor pass from him. McCarmer steals possession for Norwich City, and they can attack here with Maatsen through the midfield. Schwartau available to the left. Maatsen finds him now on the corner of the Sheffield United penalty area. Schwartau into Wright. Quick turn in the penalty area, but there's a lot of players back there for Sheffield United. Wright's managed to keep the ball alive though. He's found the shots coming from Schwartau, blocked. Overhead kick from Sargent from close range, and somehow it's scrambled off the line. Sargent was only about 5 yards out, back to goal, managed an overhead kick, but there were so many Sheffield United players back. One of them managed to block it on the line. Terrific determination as well from Jacob Wright and Oscar Schwartau to keep that attack going.
Again, a great chance there, do you know what I mean? And that's what these moments in these games are, what you need to take. And as you said there, Wright, he's picking up some very, very good positions, to be honest. He's drifting wide, he's staying central, he's finding spaces in between lines, and he's created some good moments, to be fair. He's linked up well with Sargent at times, who flicks around the corners, so he's going to be sort of a key player in this game.
I just looked at the replay on the screens above our head. It was Danny Ings who was back on the line, the Sheffield United striker. He was behind the goalkeeper, and Sargent must have thought he'd scored there because the keeper was out of the game. It's a brilliant overhead kick from Sargent from within the 6-yard box, but Danny Ings, his opposite number 9, was there on the line to head it away. Southampton already 2 up against West Brom. And St Mary's tonight, and Sheffield Wednesday are winning at Watford, but here come Norwich City with Wright. Just wanted too long on the ball. By the time he got up to the edge of the penalty area, he's dispossessed. But Sheffield United just starting to look a little bit shaky at the moment. Norwich with a misplaced header from Maatsen to put it out for a throw-in. Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday 1 up at Vicarage Road, just as Norwich were on Saturday. 0-0. That's been Norwich's best spell, though, isn't it, Ryan Bennett?
It has, yeah, they have. And I just spoke about that. They built up some good momentum during the game, and hopefully again they can continue that. It's they've got the ball down, they've found some dangerous areas, they've found balls between lines, some people in spaces, and that's what they're going to continue to need to do.
McConville picks out Maatsen on halfway. Norwich growing in confidence, actually, as this half is going on. Schwartau now cutting in dangerously from the left-hand side. A step over takes him into the penalty area. Plays it back towards Kenny McLean, whose curling effort is over the top. About 25 yards out there, Kenny McLean. He's more dangerous from further back, as Scotland saw in that brilliant World Cup qualifier recently. But it's a curious thing. We were talking before the game about Kenny McLean. Only 5 goals in the last 4 years for Norwich City, and I think that's because he's not been allowed to get forward quite as much as he did there.
Yeah, he's not, to be honest. And he's a player that also has great ability in the air as well. If he's able to break forward and get in the box from crosses, but obviously he's not been allowed to do that, and he still has sat deep tonight.
Yeah, scored one of those headers in that famous win over Manchester City, which does feel a long time ago now, doesn't it, in the Dan Wafarka days. 0-0 at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United in the red and white striped shirts, black shorts, black socks, have possession. They've gone back to Tanganga, who beat Norwich City on the opening day of the season. He was still with Millwall at the start of the season before making the move to Bramall Lane. Schwartau and Springett win the ball back for Norwich, high up the pitch on the left-hand side. Good teamwork there, but Schwartau can't quite take the ball with him, and Sariki's been able to tackle him. Here's Samare in the midfield for Sheffield United, still inside his own half, but he's managed to release Harrison Burrows in a good position on the left-hand side. Forward Burrows comes, plays the ball towards the Norwich penalty area. O'Hare shooting opportunity, really well blocked by Norwich City, but it's bounced up and it's bouncing around the edge of the Norwich box. O'Hare tries another shot, 2 Norwich players right in front of him. One of them is McConville, who makes the block, and he now clears upfield. And Jacob Wright is not Josh Sargent and doesn't chase the ball into the channel. I think Sargent would have got after that one, but Jacob Wright doesn't, and the young defender Tyler Binding can pick it up. Norwich well and truly in this game, aren't they, Ryan Bennett? I think a lot of Norwich fans were concerned, but 0-0.
They are, yeah, and on the balance of play, they've had the better chances, and to be honest, they look the most threatening team on the pitch at this moment. Again, Sheffield United giving the ball away cheaply.
Awful ball forward from Femi Sariki there. Got his first goal for the club against Stoke on Saturday. And a dominant performance. Stoke starting this season really well, but go down 4-0 here. Kovacevic for Norwich City, the goalkeeper, passing it out to Kenny McLean. He gives it to Medic. And now it's Tony Springett for Norwich City, the left back. Gives it once again to Medic. And now it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. Just a word about the striking options available to Chris Wilder. We've got Cannon and Ings up front today, with Patrick Bamford amongst the substitutes and Tyrese Campbell as well. It's not bad, but Norwich have moved the ball nicely forward here. Here comes Kellen Fisher on the right-hand side, again carrying the ball forward with confidence. McCarmer to right, edge of the penalty, a curling cross, dealt with comfortably by young Bindon at the back. And Norwich will build again from halfway. Quick pass from Kenny McLean to Jacob Wright. He's really getting involved in the game now. It's McCarmer on the right-hand side. McLean's just tucked in at right back because Fisher had gone forward. He gets the ball now and gives it to Maatsen. Maatsen, blonde-haired Danish midfielder, finds Fisher. Oh, Fisher caught there clumsily by O'Hare, and it's a free kick for Norwich City on the right-hand side, which Maatsen has decided to take quickly. No sympathy there for Fisher, who was rolling on the floor. Ball forward from McLean, dealt with by Sheffield United. McConville takes the touch on halfway. Works it along the ground to the left-hand side. Collected well by Springett, and now back to Medic. So it remains 0-0 halfway through this first half at Bramall Lane on BBC Radio Norfolk. Wright's just given the ball away though, with a quick pass, and it's been picked up by Burrows. 1-2 between him and O'Hare. Burrows crosses from the left for Sheffield United. It's a dangerous one. Medic has done well to chop it up in the air. Needs help, and Maatsen wins the second header and is then barged to the floor by Tom Cannon. And it's a free kick for Norwich City, so still 0-0. And you're right, Norwich beginning to show a lot more composure than perhaps we've seen in some games this season.
They are. There's been some great play, especially from deeper areas, with the combination play that they're having. They're coming wide. Kenny McLean's dropping out to sort of the right side, and they're using that, and they're firing the ball inside to then get it back outside to Kellen Fisher. And I think especially Wright, he's picked up some great positions even throughout the moves. He's always seems to be in that pocket, causing problems for their midfield and centre backs if they jump.
Norwich on the left-hand side. Oh, Sargent had to hold off the referee there to be able to get to the ball, but he has done so. And he's released Kellen Fisher, who's coming forward on the right. Fisher with a ball forward to McCarmer, and it's just got enough on it to hold up by the corner flag here for McCarmer to play it back to Fisher. Norwich camped inside the Sheffield United half at the moment, with McConville giving it to Matson. United now have got plenty of players back. McConville with the pass towards McCarmer, who couldn't get onto it this time. And Chris Wilder's team have managed to break the play up with Harrison Burrows. And into his own penalty area. Help from skipper Tanganga, who sent it up towards halfway. McConville wins it for Norwich. Quick from Matson to right. Now on to Schwartau, 25 yards out. Schwartau through to Sargent. Oh, good save from the goalkeeper. Sargent trying to just pass that one into the corner of the net. And Cooper, the goalkeeper, read it well and got down to save. But it was a terrific effort from Sargent, who didn't have much time there, just had to take the shot on quickly. But Norwich have got Sheffield United worried here, haven't they?
They have, and again, it's his central position.
Central position from right this time, looking to get McCarmer into the penalty area. The ball holds up, McCarmer stands it up. It takes a deflection though, that loops it up in the air, and the goalkeeper takes it, and you can hear that Bramall Lane's a little bit worried.
This is, I mean, they're quietening them down, obviously. They're loud there, but in a negative manner. And listen, Wright's picking up good positions centrally, Sargent's dropping in, Schwartau's coming inside, and they are causing big problems in there, and that's what they need to keep doing for this game, and Sheffield United are going to have to change something to sort of nullify that.
0-0, but Norwich just beginning to create a couple of opportunities, particularly for Josh Sargent. It's twice he's been denied in the last few moments. McLean not able to win possession on halfway. Now a chance for Sheffield United to break. O'Hare plays it through towards Danny Ings. Oh, challenge comes in from Medic, and he's got the ball. That had to be well timed, and it was terrifically timed from the Norwich centre-back, because it looked for all the world like the striker Ings had got away from him.
It did, you know, and some people criticise him for his lack of mobility, but he certainly showed and had what he needed to there.
Yeah, that was really good bit of defending, because if you'd pressed the pause button as the ball went towards Ings, you would have made him favourite. Sargent chests the ball into the path of right. Here come Norwich again, 0-0. This game opening up now, though. Fisher getting forward to good effect again on the right-hand side. Here's Jacob Wright. Seems to be enjoying this number 10 role he's been given from the start of this game today. McConville finding Jacob Wright once more. It's only the 13th time in his senior career that Jacob Wright has started a game. He's still so young, so inexperienced, but he's a player that Norwich fans think a lot of. Here's Schwartau on the left-hand side to Matson. Precise pass to Tony Springett, who's got forward here. Springett takes on the fullback, delivers a cross, which is blocked well by Zariki. And then Springett has enough gumption to get it back off Chong when Chong should have cleared. Sheffield United fans not happy. McLean puts it in the penalty area. Sargent can't get on the end of it, and the goalkeeper's got it. Good spell this for Norwich.
It is, and they're doing really well on the repress as well. When they are losing the ball higher and Sheffield United are obtaining possession, they're really jumping on that first ball and stopping them at source.
But it remains 0-0. McConville heads the ball up in the air at the back for Norwich City. Matson comes back to help. Fisher has to just prevent O'Hare from breaking forward on the left-hand side there. Norwich in possession, but by the time McLean's got it under control, he's inside his own box, pings the pass out to the left and picks out Springett, who had his first real foray forward there a few minutes ago and caused a bit of a problem for Sheffield United. Matson with a quick pass to right, gives it back to the Danish midfielder here, Pelle Matson. Fisher making a run into the middle, but Norwich haven't seen that. Jacob Wright caught in possession, but from on the ground still manages to get the pass away to Springett. Both head coaches, Chris Wilder and Philippe Clement, on the side of the pitch. Chris Wilder's got a grey hood piled up by the back of his head. Philippe Clement, that steely glare, watching his team in possession. They've gone back to the goalkeeper, Kovacevic. Clears right-footed. 27 minutes gone. Sheffield United 0, Norwich City 0. McCarmer wins a header on. Tanganga prevents Sargent from getting there for Norwich City. Wright and McLean working as a good pairing in midfield there. Appeals that McLean had fouled Arblaster. The referee didn't think so, and Norwich have got to throw it.
No, listen, you can't say negative words about Norwich with their attitude and their commitment towards this game. You know, they're jumping on everything. They're showing aggression towards every aspect of their game, and that's really showing, and that's leading them into good positions to win the ball back and then work from there.
Promising start for Norwich City. That's all it is at the moment, but it's 0-0. And we're in the 28th minute. Norwich have had the better opportunities. Here's McConville. Deep inside his own half. Short to Matson. He lays it off to Medic. Norwich are going to build from the halfway line now with Jakob Medic. Settles for a short pass in the end to Pelle Matson. Now it's with Kenny McLean, who's just dropped back into his own half. Comes forward, finds Fisher on the right-hand side. Fisher's got McCarmer making a run outside him on the right wing. Crossing opportunity for McCarmer. Takes a touch. Now works the ball back to Kenny McLean, who will get onto his left foot from the right wing and will drill it towards the edge of the box. It's a poor one. It's been cut out by Chong, and it might leave Norwich vulnerable to the counter-attack. Chong has got into the halfway line, into the centre circle, works it to the left. Zariki is arriving. He's gone down under the challenge of Medic. It's a free kick on the edge of the penalty area, and it's a yellow card for Jakub Medic, because one poor pass from Kenny McLean and Norwich were exposed there, and again Medic had to slide in and make the challenge, and he was late. He caught Sariki, and that's a yellow card for the Norwich centre-back.
It is, you know, and that's what you say, is a poor pass, you know, but that's been consistent throughout this game. Kenny McLean was in a consistent position. He's been taken up all game, and you know that's sort of a lapse in concentration or whatever in that pass. But again, you don't want to take that away from him. He's been in that situation 5-6 times throughout this game and had positive action. So that one negative action hopefully leads to nothing, and he continues to get the ball in these situations and have a positive effect rather than that negative one.
Good position, this free kick, isn't it? It's more towards the corner of the box than the D, but it's certainly central enough for a shot.
It is, yeah, and Harrison Burrows does have good quality in that left foot, which is setting up nicely for him.
Yeah. Signed from Peterborough. Still only 23, but he got both goals in this fixture last season. The Wisbeach boy stands over the ball. So does Tom Cannon. He can certainly hit these. He's recently just been rediscovering his scoring touch for Sheffield United. Could be the left foot of Burrows, could be the right foot of Cannon. It will be Harrison Burrows who puts it over the wall, and Kovacevic helps it on its way over the bar. It's a corner. Don't think that one was ever going to catch Kovacevic out, though, was it?
No, it looked pretty central, to be honest. Obviously, tips it over to be safe, and you know, on the balance of play, Norwich City didn't deserve that to find the net, and luckily it didn't.
No, but we spent a lot of time on Saturday talking about how they didn't deserve to be behind at Watford, and they lost that game. So
well, this is the problem, you know. They need to take one of these chances. They say they've been the better team during this game, and they're going to need to take one.
Warm applause for Ollie Arblaster, the young Sheffield United midfielder, on his return to action tonight after 13 months out injured. He's got this corner from the right-hand side, but he's actually going to leave it for Harrison Burrows to take. Norwich getting themselves organised in their own penalty area. Everybody back to try and deal with this Sheffield United set play. Burrows will whip it into the penalty area now, high towards the far post. Ings is coming in and has headed it over the top with a goal at his mercy. That was a golden opportunity. He was only about 4 yards out. Beautifully flighted corner from Burrows. Ings knew exactly where the ball was going to arrive. He got there, and he's planted the header straight over the bar. I think there are appeals that Kovacevic was being fouled, and that's why he's on the ground. But I don't think he was, having seen the replay.
No,
that's
there was no foul in there, and I mean, I think we could see from the position that we're in quite high up that the ball was on his head the whole way. So he was the only person in the stadium who didn't realise that, you know, but it's a let-off for Norwich, and you know they have deserved that, and they've created their own luck within this game.
Oof, that was a golden chance. Danny Ings hasn't scored yet for Sheffield United. I was going to say he won't get a better chance, but he might here, because here's Cannon on the left-hand side, crossing the ball in. No, he's offside though, Cannon. Danny Ings, 33 years old now, a player with 72 Premier League goals to his name. Four goals in his career, been against Norwich, including one for Liverpool. He didn't have a long spell at Liverpool, but he did score against the Canaries. And the Norwich fans just, I think, you can sense, feeling their team might need them at the moment, just lifting the noise levels, because as much as Norwich City have done a lot of good things in this game, the frustrating thing is, Ryan Bennett, that they could easily be 1-0 down, and probably should be 1-0 down.
For sure, you could say they should be 1-0 down, it could be 1-0 down, but at the same time they could have equally been 2-0 up. So, you know, don't get disheartened by the last couple of minutes and go back and continue to do what they were doing, which is working really well for them.
Bad miss from Danny Ings, 0-0. Here's Fisher for Norwich City, trying to tunnel forward on the right-hand side. Oh, and then Makama went forward at the exact moment that Fisher tried to roll it back to him, and Norwich have lost possession. Sheffield United trying to take advantage, but there's the all-action Pelle Matson flying in and nicking the ball off O'Hare. And Norwich have got it back again. 13 minutes to go to half-time. It's back with Kovacevic, the goalkeeper. He passes the ball out to Medic, who now has to be careful, being on a yellow card. Aims it towards the halfway line. Quick feet there from Sariki, but Matson makes the challenge, wins the challenge, and Jacob Wright gets possession for Norwich City. Sariki knocks him over, and he's going to get a yellow card there, Sariki. And I think probably, the Sheffield United fans are complaining, but he had 3 or 4 goes at bringing Wright down there, didn't he?
He did, you know, he gives it away, you know, when he slipped over and sort of been dispossessed, you know, Wright was there to break away, and you know, you've seen them given plenty of times. There was only one way that was going, and Wright was breaking free, and he just does give him a little pull back, which in turn 9 times out of 10 does lead to that yellow card. Yep,
so a yellow card apiece now. Sariki, Femi Sariki, who was fouled by Medic, and Medic got booked, and Sariki has now been given a yellow card of his own by the referee, who's Josh Smith today. 0-0, BBC Radio Norfolk. 12 minutes to go to half-time. Norwich have taken the free kick from in the centre circle. McLean and Matson knocking it to each other, and then McLean finding the pass towards the left wing and spring it. Sheffield United, though, well set, plenty of players back, having been set for the set piece. And so Norwich have to go all the way back again to Kenny McLean, who's standing just inside his own half. Laid off to Medic, back again to McLean. And McLean from deep will send the ball out towards Fisher, but again, McLean's radar not functioning there, and he's putting out a play for a throw-in, which is taken quickly by Sheffield United. Burrows coming forward on the left-hand side. They were so well set there, Sheffield United, so well organised. Norwich had the ball for a long time, but never really looked like they were ever going to get anywhere with it. And it remains 0-0 on what is a very, very mild evening, considering it's December the 9th. I bought all sorts of coats and jumpers and woolly hats, and it's not needed tonight. It's windy and it's a bit damp, but certainly not cold in South Yorkshire. McCarmer with the header, misplaced it. It's picked up by Sheffield United, and Burrows eventually on the left-hand side towards the edge of the box. McLean cuts it out. O'Hare gets a touch on the ball as he thunders into the challenge, and it's a Norwich City throw-in. You can sense Sheffield United fans around us not particularly enjoying this at the moment. They're frustrated, aren't they? They've been used to seeing their team in recent games score goal after goal after goal.
They are frustrated, and well deserved on Norwich's behalf that they are frustrated. They've come into this game and they're frustrated and been in very, very good areas. So that's credit to Norwich for doing that.
Kovacevic, the Norwich goalkeeper, clears up towards halfway. Header on by McCarmer. There's been another goal at St Mary's. Southampton are 3-0 up against West Brom. Norwich play Southampton on Saturday lunchtime. Sheffield United play West Brom on Friday night. Whether Ryan Mason will still be in charge then, the West Brom manager, I'm not sure, because I've seen a bit of disquiet from West Brom fans about his position, and they're 3-0 down tonight. Here's Tanganga at the back. The Sheffield United captain played 50 games for Spurs earlier on in his career. Goes back to the goalkeeper Cooper, and it's passed out now towards Bindon, who sends one deep into the Norwich half. Medic has got this one under control, I think, and sees it behind for the goal kick. Bindon had a bit of a difficult start. He's on loan from Nottingham Forest, but last season he was playing for Reading under Ruben Sellers, and Ruben Sellers then came to Sheffield United, decided to bring Tyler Bindon with him, and I think Ruben Sellers' reputation here is not that great, so anybody who arrived with him has a bit of work to do in terms of lifting their own reputation.
He was well sought after, Tyler Bindon. He has struggled with his early time here, but there was a lot of other clubs interested within him, and he does have quality.
Norwich giving the ball away. It's ended up with O'Hare for Sheffield United in the D, edge of the penalty area, trying to work the opening. He's ended up passing it to the right-hand side, and Chong. Sariki joining the attack. That goes between two Norwich players, and the foul is given. Free kick for Sheffield United on the right-hand side. There's been an equaliser at Carrow Road in the FA Youth Cup. They're in the second half there, and it's Norwich 1, Stoke 1. We'll keep you up to date with that one. Chris Wilder and Philippe Clement are having a disagreement about something on the side of the pitch there. I mean, I'm not quite sure what, because Sariki went down, fouled by Springett. It's a free kick. He's got the free kick. I don't quite know what more Chris Wilder wants there, but Philippe Clement is looming over him because he's much taller and saying, just, all right, you got what you want, you got a free kick, sit down, or words to that effect.
He's done well that he hasn't done it before that. It was 36 minutes in. I mean, Chris Wilder does like to be quite vocal on that touchline, so I'm sure there'll be more of that towards the end of the game.
Yes, I'm not sure I'd want to be the fourth official in between those two tonight. It's probably quite an intimidating place to be, the side of the pitch. Now, 8 minutes to half-time, 0-0 at Bramall Lane. Can Norwich see out this latest Sheffield United set-piece? Burrows and Arblaster standing over it. It's a really good position, this, on the right-hand side, level with the Norwich penalty area. A real chance to test Kovacevic and his defence here. Burrows it will be with the left foot, who will whip it in dangerously. It's a Norwich head that meets it. Chong on the edge of the penalty area, well dealt with initially by Springett, but Chong now works room for the cross to come in, headed out as far as Cannon, who gets the shot in, but that wouldn't have counted because there's a Norwich player down, and the referee spotted a foul in there and given Norwich a free kick. They've seen off that set piece.
They did, I think it's Josh Sargent, to be fair, who's down, and it was very, very good bravery, to be honest. I mean, it was a good ball in. It had good height on it. It was attacked, to be honest, really well, and it did look quite a nasty sort of collision with the way that he went down, and I was actually quite worried for him, to be honest.
Yeah, Bindon jumped into the back of him, didn't he? And Sargent hasn't moved much since, which is a concern.
Yeah, it never looks good when they go down like that. He was quite flaccid as he went down. It's not nice to see when they lay on the ground like that, and it was quite a hefty collision. Yeah,
the Norwich medical staff were very quick to get on the pitch, and such a quick reaction there, that always tells you there is some concern. So Sargent is down at the moment in his own 6-yard box after Tyler Bindon thundered into the back of him after he got rid of the ball. And there'll be a bit of a delay, and we're getting one of these unofficial timeouts now. Sometimes goalkeepers have been criticised this season for forcing these timeouts by going down injured, but this is a genuine injury for Josh Sargent. and it means players are going to have a chance and get a bit of extra instruction on board for the last 7 minutes of the half. Gives us a chance, Ryan, to have a bit of a chat with you. Ryan Bennett, former Norwich defender. Tell us what you're doing with yourself these days.
Not too much, to be honest. I'm doing some scouting work for a club that's in League One. I've done some educational courses in sporting directorship and doing a master's currently, which was have a few months left of that. So we're looking forward to sort of take the next steps within that, and hopefully with the end goal of being a sporting director, which is, you know, a vague word these days and means a lot and has different varied roles as such, but that's my end game, and we're working hard to try and get there.
It's so interesting, isn't it? Because coming out of football, in the past, people would run pubs and stuff like that, or they'd go into coaching, or they'd be an agent or something. But now the world of the sporting director, which is still relatively new in English football, that's a whole other career path open to former players, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and you know, it's nice. I mean, this day and age as well, I think over the last sort of 2-3 years there's been a big emphasis on the educational side of players, and I think that's imperative. And sort of what I would say to any young player now is, you know, to try and educate yourself and take the opportunities that present themselves when you can. You know, like you see Harry Darling coming up here early, you know, as a chat with you guys, and you know, getting in that involvement when players are not involved. You know, ultimately it is a short career, and you know, sometimes you don't really know what you want to do after, but there's plenty of avenues and there's plenty of experiences that you learn throughout your career that stand you in good stead for a varied role of jobs, really. And it's, you know, you've got to look at that to take your next opportunity.
Interesting stuff. Ryan Bennett with us today, and while he was talking I was watching Josh Sargent, and they're not taking any chances here. He's up on his feet, but it was such a blow, I think. I don't know whether he looks very, very groggy. We're just seeing a close-up on the monitor here. Doesn't look at all comfortable, Josh Sargent, and I wonder whether he's going to be able to continue. That doesn't look too clever, does it?
I would say, yeah, I don't think there's no chance that he's going to continue, especially with the type of injury or the impact that he's had there, and it looked like it was on his head. And you know, that's something that you don't want to take chances with. And you know, and listen, hopefully all things well, that he is okay. Do you know what I mean? That's the main thing in this situation. It's disappointing, but hopefully he's okay.
Well, Norwich's injury problems are mounting here. There's no Mathias Kvistgaard, who you would expect would come on usually for Sargent. We're just watching it again. He leaps to Sargent to head the ball away. Real good commitment to the cause defensively, and Bindon jumps into him. There's a clash of heads. And Sargent is now, he's got one arm around the shoulder of each of the two Norwich medical team, and he's being led away by the corner flag to come round towards the dugout. So Josh Sargent's further participation in this game has to be in doubt, and then who knows what after that, because for obvious reasons that there are never any chances taken over anybody with a blow to the head like that, and there is going to be a bit of movement down there. An ankle Forson, I think, is getting stripped, and that would mean Makama would get the chance to go down the middle, I would think, although only Marcondes is being spoken to as well by Philippe Clement. So we'll just keep an eye on this. Norwich are down to 10, and Sargent is coming across so slowly towards the side of the pitch. And it was interesting there that the ball went out for a throw-in, and it bounced up towards Sargent, and one of the Norwich physios put his bag up to try and protect him from being hit on the head again. There's clearly some concern there, isn't there?
Yeah, it did look nasty, to be honest, you know, and it wasn't nice to see, but as I said, you know, he's got the best attention and the best care possible down there, so hopefully he receives that and he's all is well with him.
It's rather a groggy looking Josh Sargent. Just he's got his first goal for a while on Saturday, now going off the pitch. Here comes Sheffield United against the 10 men of Norwich with Chong. Oh, clever back heel. Sariki on the right-hand side from the byline, delivers towards the far post. O'Hare's going to head it back into the danger zone. Can Norwich deal with this one? Opportunity here for Burrows if he can get the shot away. No shot on. Blaster's shot is blocked by Makama. Norwich are having to defend in numbers here, but they're a man down with Sargent having gone off. 0-0. Sheffield United piling on the pressure. A good challenge from Schwartau, another good challenge from Schwartau, and it's a throw-in. And Ankle Forson still getting ready to come on.
What I would say is very, very poor from him. He should be ready to come on. I think the manager's gesticulating that he's not very happy at all. He's doing his boots up, he's in a rush, and he should be ready, and he's not happy at all, the manager, which is right.
Yeah, he hasn't even got his shin pads in yet. His Burrows on the left, they've just been thrown in his direction. 0-0, but Sheffield United know they've got an opportunity here. They've got effectively a bit of a power play with Norwich down to 10. Forson still getting himself ready on the side of the pitch. Can't come on now because the game's in full swing. Chong on the right-hand side, stepping in field, rolls the ball into the penalty area. Cannon with his back to goal, gives it to Sariki on the right-hand side. Low ball in, and it falls eventually for Jacob Wright to bring it away for Norwich City. That could have gone anywhere, and Wright just has to clear it up the field because Norwich are under huge pressure, and they want to get a Ankle Forson on the pitch.
They do, and to be honest, it's taken far, far too long in that situation. You know, it was clear as day that Sargent wasn't going to continue. So there was conversation down there with the fitness team. I don't know if that's sort of relating to that player or who's coming on, but you know, he should be ready, or at least more ready than he was, because it looked like he had his trainers on and he was on the sunbed, to be honest. But you know, that could have cost his team there, and I'm sure the manager will be having words after the game, and that's something they can look at for future reference.
Josh Sargent, Norwich's main centre forward, scored his first goal since August on Saturday. Clearly, you could see as soon as they picked him up and we got the picture on the monitor, you could see how groggy he was. You could see he was going to have to come off. But it's a real blow for Norwich City, who've already lost in the build-up to this game Matthias Kvistgaard with injury. So now that leaves Makama as their only option as a centre forward, and he's up there now. Forson's come across the play on the right, where Makama was playing, and now the tall centre forward who was with Lincoln last season is going to have to lead the line for Norwich City tonight, and who knows for how long going forward, because McConville's back pass didn't look like it was going to have enough on it, but Kovacevic has come and dealt with it. Yeah, Sargent's participation on Saturday has to be in doubt as well now, as Forson gets straight involved. Steps in from the right-hand side, reverse pass towards Jacob Wright, who's arriving. He crosses low into the penalty area, and it's cleared away for a throw-in. In the final few seconds of the first half, here's McLean on the right-hand side for Norwich City. And how much stoppage time we're going to get? 4 minutes, and really those 4 minutes are probably the 4 minutes that it took to deal with Josh Sargent a moment ago. So we're 4 minutes away from half-time, and it's 0-0 at Bramall Lane. Norwich trying to get forward with Schwartau on the left-hand side. Oh, he's been caught in the face. He's gone down, or at least he's making that he's been caught in the face by Sariki. The referee, though, had a good look at it, and he's happy with it, and players continuing, and he's just got to pick himself up and get on with it if he can. Here's Schwartau.
Yeah, it didn't look too much in it, to be fair. It's one of them, little handoff in the face, but it was unintentional, I believe, and he's up on his feet. Yeah, he is, and Norwich need him to get back here, because it's on his side of the pitch that they've got it to Chong. Chong for Sheffield United in the penalty area, makes room for the shot, but it's always going wide, and it's a goal kick, and it remains 0-0. That's a huge blow for Norwich, isn't it? Josh Sargent is the top goal scorer, 7 this season, scored on Saturday. If they had Matthias Kvistgaard to bring on, it wouldn't be quite so bad, because he's been pretty good when he's been fit this season, but now he's not fit as well. So when you're in the bottom three, and now you've lost your first 2 centre forwards. Yeah, sometimes it goes like that, you know, and it's disappointing. But hopefully, with the type of impact and injury that he received there, he'll be back once he gets the right sort of care. He won't be out for too long, hopefully, maybe a week, 10 days maximum, and then he can be back in. But it is a big blow for Norwich.
I wouldn't expect to see him on Saturday.
No, for sure. I mean, the protocols probably tell you that he's not going to play that game straight away.
Yeah, that's the way it looks. We had Jack Stacey as well for Norwich this season, had a couple of concussions as well, and that protocol may be needed again for Josh Sargent, who can play no further part in this game for Norwich City. Michael Forson on instead of him. So 0-0. But Canary Call coming up after the game. You'll be able to get your calls in to Ryan Bennett and Rob Butler and discuss whatever waits in front of us here. I'm sure Philippe Clement must be looking with some envy towards the striking options available to Chris Wilder at the moment. He's down to his last striker, and there are 4 very, very good Championship strikers in this Sheffield United squad. Cannon starting up front alongside Ings, and you've got Bamford and Tyrese Campbell to come on if that doesn't work. Here's Chong for Sheffield United. They're looking to finish the first half on the front foot with Sariki getting forward, but Medic sees the danger, gets across, puts it out for a throw-in. So Sheffield United level with the Norwich penalty area. He's starting to look a bit frustrated down there, is Philippe Clement. The black baseball cap has come off. And he just expressing a little bit of a concerned figure as he headed back towards his dugout, way down below us on the side of the pitch. Throw into the Blades. Still a minute and a half of the stoppage time remaining. Can Norwich get in at half-time without conceding a goal? They're under pressure at the moment. It's a throw-in level with the edge of the Norwich box. Taking a long time over it. Eventually the throw-in is delivered. And now it's played back towards the halfway line. Norwich have got everyone back behind the ball. Tanganga, centre-back, on some Spurs. Has to go back towards his own goal. Norwich have pressed well there. And he gives it to the goalkeeper, Cooper. He gives it to Arblaster. McLean hovering, thinking about making a challenge on Arblaster, but at least forcing Sheffield United back to their goalkeeper. Now, Norwich have turned it round in the FA Youth Cup. They were 1-0 down to Stoke at Carrow Road tonight. They're now 2-1 up. They'll play Burnley at home in the next round if they are successful tonight. Maatsen plays one through the middle. Norwich could be in here right at the end of the half with Schwartau. He's in the box, but he's pushed Sariki at the back, who goes down. And the referee sees that one and awards Sheffield United a free kick. It just wouldn't quite run for Oscar Schwartau there, would it? No, it didn't, but it's a good run coming off from that left-hand side right across the pitch. Short free kick taken by the goalkeeper Cooper, and his defence weren't quite ready for it. Norwich now with Fisher to McLean. Quick pass to Forson on the right-hand side. Norwich finishing the half strong, but Forson's forgotten to take the ball with him. He's been tackled, and here's Ings back inside his own half for Sheffield United. He's been involved in both penalty areas in this first half. Played up towards O'Hare on halfway. Time just about up at the end of this first half. There might be an opportunity for one last attack, and it's going to come from Sheffield United. Blaster to Chong, right-hand side, cross comes in, Ings! Oh, he's off balance, and he gets the shot in, and it loops up in the air and goes way, way over the top. And it's the last action of the first half where we really have to talk about the two number 9s, because Danny Ings has missed an absolute sitter for Sheffield United, heading the ball over from inside the 6-yard box, but he was better at the other end of the pitch when he blocked a Josh Sargent overhead kick on the goal line. The big problem for Norwich City in that first half, as well as they've played, they've gone toe-to-toe with Sheffield United and had the better of it for long spells, but they've now lost Josh Sargent to a nasty head injury after a collision in the penalty area with Tyler Bindon.
For the team, but I guess Jacob Wright will drop back into McLean's position, and Marcondes will just step forward into Wright's vacant position that he's just left.
Yeah, it was when he played that pass that went out for a throw-in. I noticed he pulled up slightly in the first half. Didn't look to anything major at the time, but yeah, as soon as the half-time whistle went, he went straight over to talk to one of the Norwich staff, and they've made another change. So we'll go through the team lineups for you in a moment. It is 0-0. We're back underway in the second half. Norwich going from right to left as we look at it, so they're attacking the end of the ground where their 800 or so supporters are watching, and they've watched them put up a really good fight here against a recently resurgent Sheffield United. It is 0-0. The Norwich have lost Sargent and McLean to injury, and Fisker in the build-up to the match. Real test now. Sheffield United in possession, left-hand side. Burrows working it towards the edge of the box. Ings has come deep to get involved in the game, having missed a couple of good chances in the first half. Tees up Burrows, who gets forward well on the left-hand side. Low cross right through the 6-yard box. Nobody on the end of it is behind for a goal kick. So the Norwich team, Kovacevic in goal, Fisher and Springett the wing-backs, Medic and McConville the centre-backs. It's now Maatsen and Wright in the centre of the park, with Forson and Schwartau playing wide, and Marcondes behind Makama up front. Sheffield United have Cooper in goal, Sariki, Bindon, Tanganga and Burrows across the back. Samare and Blaster are the two central midfielders, with Chong and O'Hare the wingers, Ings and Cannon up front. Norwich could easily have gone behind very early at the start of the second half there, couldn't they?
It was a very dangerous ball. I mean, any striker running in or someone coming from the wide area at the back post would have had a tap in across that sort of 6-yard box. It was a great delivery, and luckily for Norwich there was no one there to sort of tap it in.
The trouble Norwich have got is Kenny McLean and Josh Sargent are so central to the way they want to play.
They are, and I think another effect on that is, you talk about Jacob Wright not had many minutes. Is he going to last 90 minutes? Is that another substitution you have to make further on in the game? I think these are things that are going to be problems later on as well.
Yeah, and one other bit of news I did manage to pick up at half-time that I haven't had a chance to bring you yet is that I've had confirmation the Sargent substitution was a concussion substitute, so that should mean Norwich are allowed actually to make a 6th change in this game under those recently introduced rules if they feel they need to, and they may well need to the way this game is going. It is 0-0. Norwich with some defending to do here. Chong quickly gets the pass to Sariki, who goes down, and Tony Springett's going to get a yellow card for tripping Sariki in full flight there. Springett put his arms up as if Sal was trying to get out of the way, but as soon as Sariki went down, the referee had it was the instinctive reaction to put the hand in the pocket.
Yeah, to be honest, it was obviously good little sharp play from the Sheffield United players. He don't think he really meant to foul him. He's obviously dangled his leg a little bit, tried to bring it back in, but the speed of movement is so quick out there that unfortunately there was a little bit of contact. He made the most of it, and the refs decided to bring his yellow card out in that situation.
Looking at these scores at half-time, Norwich, if it all stays as it is, would be 7 points from safety. And with the injury problems mounting as well, it's not turning into a good evening for the Canaries. But they are still in this game. It's 0-0. 3 minutes gone in the second half. Burrows with the free kick for Sheffield United. Clips it into the penalty area. It's headed on and just wide. There was a free header in there, and it was Ings again. And this is another reason why losing Josh Sargent is a concern, because actually he got injured. He picked up the head injury clearing a set piece, didn't he, getting his head on something in his own box. Norwich have lost that as well.
Yeah, you have. And also McLean, I mean, playing against him through the years, he's quite a good leader out there. He's a vocal lad in them situations, so someone's going to have to take that mantle on and be really dominant in them areas to make sure the team are concentrated.
Long kick forward from Kovacevic. Makama unable to shake off Tyler Bindon. And Sheffield United have got it back to their goalkeeper Cooper. But it's a long ball up towards halfway. Medic wins the first header. Schwartau now trying to get onto it, but Sariki has got there first and plays it back to his goalkeeper Cooper. Passed out to Tanganga, who nearly gave that one away to Marcondes, but our blaster gets him out of jail and hits the ball towards the Sheffield United left. But Kellen Fisher's there to intercept for Norwich City. On to Forson, back to Fisher, the Norwich right back, who's got Rory McConville waiting behind him. McConville just voted the Norwich Player of the Month for November. It's interesting that tonight is his 4th appearance under Philippe Clement, so he's already played for Norwich under Philippe Clement as many times as he did under Liam Manning. He didn't seem to fancy him in that central defensive position. Sheffield United in the red and white stripes and the black shorts and the black socks have the ball. Right-hand side, Sariki testing Norwich here. It's in behind Springett towards Chong. On the right-hand side, he's beaten Springett. Plays it across, tap in for Danny Ings! And it's getting worse for Norwich City now this evening. They've lost 2 key players to injury in Sargent and McLean. And now they go a goal behind. Chong got the better of Tony Springett, rolled into the 6-yard box, and Danny Ings was there to score his first Sheffield United goal, and it is Sheffield United 1, Norwich City 0.
It's good play from Sheffield United there as well, you know, you've got to sometimes give them credit. I mean, Sariki with a great ball on the outside shoulder of Springett with Chong running on the inside, you know, and once you're in that position, it's hard to touch him. He chops back onto his left foot, which is what he's known for, really, playing on that right side, cutting back inside, it squares the ball across the box for an easy tapping, you know, and it's not what Norwich needed early in this second half with the quality they showed in the first half, and it's now going to be an uphill battle for them.
Well, Norwich have lost their number 9 to injury, to a head injury in this game. Sheffield United have got a number 9 who did play for England 3 times, and he's missed a couple of good chances tonight, but he wasn't missing that one. Chong rolling it into the 6-yard box, and there he was. So just put away his first goal in a Sheffield United shirt, and Norwich have it all to do. 1-0 down at Bramall Lane, and losing some key players to injury as well. Schwartau trying to get forward on the left-hand side. It's out of play. It'll be a throw-in to Sheffield United. It's only 1-0, so you know Norwich are in the game, Ryan. But given the circumstances and the players they've lost, it feels like another big test of character.
It does, yeah, and it's a tough one really, because they've done really well in the first half, and they showed great commitment and great quality along with that, you know, and to come out and lose them 2 players who are crucial players for them, you know, to come out and lose that goal early on is another blow. But you know, now we're going to see what they're made of, and it's going to be a character that's going to be tested between now and the end of the season, so it's no better time to start showing it than now.
I think Pelle Madsen has got the captain's armband on now, having only recently joined the club, but such as the other players that have gone off in this game, Madsen looks to be the captain. Throw into Sheffield United, far side. It's only Pelle Madsen's 13th appearance for Norwich City tonight. I'm pretty sure he is now wearing the captain's armband. Throw into Sheffield United. 1-0 they lead. Danny Ings with a tap-in. Norwich have lost Sargent and McLean to injury in this game. But they played well in the first half, Norwich, and they'll keep going. And here's Jacob Wright, who's now playing slightly deeper to fill in for McLean. Of course, he miscontrols the ball. And he had a chance to break on the right-hand side, and it goes out for a throw-in. Philippe Clement's a really experienced head coach. He's managed Monaco, he's managed Rangers. I'm not sure he's had a challenge like this one before, though.
No, and obviously in this league, you know, the games come thick and fast. It is relentless, so he's going to need all that experience, and especially the calm head that he probably had developed over time, and he's going to need that between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, well, Norwich play 7 times, including tonight, 7 times between today and January the 4th in the league. And there are so many games that if they don't pick up a decent amount of points, they could start to get cut adrift. Down with the Wednesday is the joyous chant from the Sheffield United fans. That's the way the league table looks at the moment. Norwich have their destiny in their own hands still. They can do something about it, and they've got the ball with Pelle Madsen in the centre circle. Schwartau with a lovely turn there to get away from Chong, who then brings him down, but the referee plays advantage because Springett has taken the run on the left-hand side for Norwich City. Has help from Pelle Madsen, suddenly finds himself as the leader out there for Norwich City. Springett on the left wing. Picks the pass to Schwartau on the edge of the box. Tried to push it towards Makama, who ran away from the ball rather than towards it. Forson's managed to block the clearance though and keep the pressure on. Schwartau with a cushioned header, right involved. Tees up Madsen. Here's Springett on the left-hand side for Norwich City. Halfway inside the Sheffield United half. Marcondes wanted the ball played early. Springett didn't quite have the confidence to do that, so it's gone back towards the halfway line, and Madsen and then Medic, and here's Wright, who finds McConville on halfway. Norwich composing themselves again now, getting a foothold in the game, having gone a goal down with that tap in for Danny Ings. Medic. There's the ball halfway inside his own half. Goes for one over the top here for Makama to chase. Makama goes to ground as he tries to get goal side of Bindon. And he stays down, feeling his shoulder. It's not a foul, he's back up again now, Makama, but Norwich can't lose him. They've lost Sargent during the game today, Kviskarin in the build-up to it, and Ante Sienats as well. Is it another centre-forward on Norwich's books, but he's out for the season with an ACL injury. So wherever you look, any centre-forward option that Norwich might have started the season with and might have felt they were well stocked, it's just Makama left now, and it's a free kick to Sheffield United on halfway.
I think, listen, I know a few people still working at Norwich. You know, the recruitment team will be working hard. There's some good people in there as well. So I'm sure after tonight they're going to be tasked with finding a replacement. But that's no easy feat in January to find a player who's come ready to hit the ground running, who potentially might not play when Sargent comes back. You know, it's a tough one to find.
And you've got 5 or 6 games before that, haven't you? Even if you sign a player on the 1st of January and get them in the team, that's still 5 games, and they've got to be up to speed quickly. It's a real difficult situation Norwich find themselves in for all sorts of reasons. BBC Radio Norfolk, Sheffield United 1, Norwich City 0. Here's Maatsen. Samare's all over him there, and that is going to be a free kick. Djibril Samare, Senegal under-23 international. Maatsen then tried to take the free kick quickly, and the referee's saying it was too quick, it was from the wrong position. Maatsen's getting frustrated here. Just going to try and keep his head. He's got mud splattered all across the back of his number 7 shirt. There's Pelle Maatsen. Norwich have it all to do. 1-0 down at Bramall Lane. The goal arriving 5 minutes into the second half. And Norwich with McConville. Neat pass to Kellen Fisher, who's in a central position and will charge forwards here. Great determined run from the young Norwich fullback. He's got up towards the edge of the Sheffield United penalty area, tries to slide it across to Forson. The defender Tanganga gets there first, but Forson fights hard to win it, finds Fisher, back to Pelle Maatsen on the edge of the penalty area. Wide to the right-hand side it goes, cross comes into the penalty area, Schwartau jumps with the goalkeeper, but the keeper was always the favourite. It was a bit too high and too loopy, and the goalkeeper was always going to come and get that. And now Chong is down, a Sheffield United player, and might need some treatment. Sheffield United 1, Norwich City 0. We'll get Canary call after the game. Ryan Bennett, former Norwich defender, and Rob Butler will be taking your calls. You can watch along as well on the website, bbc.co.uk/Norfolk. If to just flex his muscles here, Chris Wilder is going to get Gustavo Harmer onto the field to make his 99th appearance for Sheffield United. Fantastic player, 10 goals last season. This is the sort of player that Sheffield United can bring on, whereas Norwich are now looking around and seeing who's fit.
And that is the difference, you know, and they have got the luxury, like you said, you alluded to it earlier, they do have another game on Friday, and that's a luxury that they're afforded at this club. You know, you look at the other players on the bench as well, and I'm sure we'll see some of them later, but to have a player of the quality of Gustavo Harmer coming on, but to leave Chong at this stage of the game is impressive, you know, and I think they are in a false position within the league, and you know, I think they're starting to show some of the quality that they do possess.
Yeah, Tahith Chong could well end up playing in the World Cup with Curacao next year. He switched his allegiance from the Netherlands in the summer, just in time for them to qualify. And he's going to get warmly applauded off. It was his low ball into the penalty area that was dispatched smartly by Danny Ings from close range for the only goal of the game. And Sheffield United are going to bring on Gustavo Harmer and Andre Brooks by the looks of it as well. So Chris Wilder is going to make 2 changes here with his side leading by a goal to 0. Chong is replaced by Harmer, and the other change is going to see Brooks sent on for Arblaster, who has made his comeback today after 13 months out injured. Ollie Arblaster feels so much better about life now, having had that long injury setback. He's got through 58 minutes, and he's replaced now by Andre Brooks. Sheffield United in control now, aren't they? 1-0 up, and Chris Wilder's able to make the sort of changes that he would want to have done tonight.
They are, you know, and again, it's been a stop-start sort of second half, but you know, Norwich have had some moments. You know, they still possess that little bit of quality that they do have, and they've been in some sort of good positions. So hopefully they can get 1 or 2 more of them, and this time make it count.
Conville clears high for Norwich City. Good touch from Jacob Wright. Gets tackled by Harmer, but Norwich get it back with Maatsen. Maatsen digs out the pass to McConville from deep, puts his foot on the ball and finds Medic. Medic feeds Springett on the left-hand side. Springett goes back again to Jakub Medic on the edge of his own box. Pass towards Jacob Wright, deep inside his own half. Norwich confident enough to spray the passes around here with McConville. Brings it up towards halfway and finds Matson. 1-0 to Sheffield United. We've played almost an hour. Ben Crescenny, I think, could be coming on for Norwich in a moment. Certainly, and perhaps Errol Mundle-Smith as well. Both of them in conversation with the Norwich coaching staff down there. Kovacevic has nearly given the ball away. He's passed it out. It's been picked up by Harmer. Harmer clips it into the penalty area, cleared. Back to Gus Harmer, though, who shields the ball from Marcondes, then finds Sariki coming forward on the left-hand side. Springett tackles him this time and clears. Crescenny's going to come on. It wouldn't be a huge surprise if it was Springett who came off. Having done the best part of an hour again at left-back. A role that he's not used to doing, but has been called in, and goodness knows what the team will be on Saturday when Norwich play Southampton. Saturday lunchtime. You can hear that with us on BBC Radio Norfolk as the ball goes through. Sheffield United through ball to Kovacevic. Yeah, don't be caught out if you're going to Carrow Road on Saturday. It's an early kick-off, another Saturday lunchtime game. And Southampton, last time I saw tonight, they were 3-0 up against West Brom. So it's just not getting any better or any easier for Norwich City in terms of the opposition. They're still 3-0 up against West Brom. Norwich 1-0 down at Bramall Lane. Springett on the left-hand side. Back to Medic. Passes the ball along the edge of his own penalty area. And it's collected by Rory McConville. And Norwich centre-back goes long. Schwartau goes to try and flick it on, but he's beaten to it. And Norwich will retrieve possession back inside their own half with McConville. Played up towards halfway. Doesn't find Forson though. And here comes Sheffield United. Ings, back to goal, turns just outside the box. Low shot, always going wide. Kovacevic, I think, has it covered anyway. And it's a goal kick. This is going to take the situation Norwich are in, not just tonight, but onto Saturday and beyond, is going to really test everything in Philippe Clement's Arsenal here, because he's losing players rapidly. And here's Springett, who's just been caught in possession, but it's a foul. And Norwich get a free kick, and that might be Tony Springett's last action, I think, because he's starting to look a little bit as if he can't go any further. So the first change, though, is Oscar Schwartau. He hasn't been quite as influential in this game as he has in other games recently. Errol Mundle-Smith replaces him. The 19-year-old's fourth appearance for the first team. This is the longest time he's had on the pitch. And Crescenny will replace Springett, and it's a bit of good news for Norwich City on the injury front. Ben Crescenny has been out for 3 months. He's able to come on for the final half an hour, and Norwich have got a proper left-back in position. So that's something. Although they just played the ball back into their own penalty area, and it was missed by McConville, but he's swept up now. He gets the ball back to Kovacevic. So it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back for Norwich City. Yes, Crescenny's back. But if you're just joining us, Josh Sargent going off with a head injury in the first half. And Kenny McLean not coming out for the start of the second half either. It looked like he had an issue as well towards the end of the first half. And that injury list for Norwich City is getting ever longer. They're 1-0 down in this game on BBC Radio Norfolk, but they're still very much in it. Just haven't seen much of them as an attacking force in this second half, but they're trying to do something about it now. Here's Jacob Wright on halfway. High hanging ball out towards the left wing where young Errol Mundle-Smith is playing. Here he goes, number 46 on the back of his yellow shirt. Works the ball into the penalty area to Marcondes. Marcondes trying to return it to him. It's been blocked and cleared away by Sariki. McConville then clear push on Danny Ings, and it's a free kick to Sheffield United back inside their own half. I think McConville had ended up rather further up the field than he wanted to be there, hadn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was too much in it either, to be honest. I mean, he's an experienced striker. He's felt a little touch, but you know, centre-halves do that, you know, you put a little bit of pressure on them just to, well, there's a double hand in the back, actually, seeing it again, but yeah, a little bit further forward he was, you're right.
Yeah, I think there is a centre-backs union.
Yeah, I was trying to look
goalkeepers
after.
union. Here's Brooks on the Sheffield United right, teasing Crescenny, beating Crescenny, getting the cross in, eventually it ends up on the edge of the penalty area. Samare's shot is blocked, a real scramble in the Norwich penalty area. They've smuggled it away for now. Comes back to Tanganga, and now it'll be Bindon from deep who will come forward. Sariki available on the right-hand side, level with the Norwich penalty area. Mundle-Smith has some defending to do here. The pass has been got away to the edge of the penalty area. Now back towards Simare. Medic cuts it out. Here's Marcondes. Now, if he can get this ball away to Forson quickly, could be a counter-attack on, but Forson's got no support at all, so he just waits for Jacob Wright to arrive. Wright skating through the midfield. And to play the Kenny McLean role for Norwich City since he's gone off injured. Forson comes in field, picks out Marcondes on the edge of the box. Now Mundle-Smith, left corner of the penalty area for Norwich City. Oh, beats one challenge, but not the second one. Brooks just stood there. Mundell Smith kept going, but then realised he didn't have the ball anymore because Brooks had nicked it.
He did, yeah. They're just struggling to get that penetration now with Wright and Maatsen dropping in. There's big gaps, and it looks like they're struggling to sort of break forward up that pitch, so they need to sort of rectify that and get it forward to players who can have an impact.
Marcondes to Cresceni. He's got forward here on the left-hand side. Works it back to Pelle Maatsen. Now Jacob Wright 35 yards out. And Conville joins the attack. Works it towards Fisher, right corner of the penalty area for Norwich City. Quickly into the box towards Marcondes, who's gone down but managed to play the ball while on the floor. Makama from the angle, can he work it across? It's gone into the net! Norwich have scrambled an equaliser! Makama put the ball into the 6-yard box. It looked like it was going to be cleared away, but I think it's gone in off the defender, and Norwich City have got themselves back into this one against the odds. The fans behind that goal had the perfect view of it. They're celebrating. It's Sheffield United 1, Norwich City 1.
It is, and that's good. They've had endeavour the whole game. They've showed commitment. They've tried to do the right things, and they have tried to keep that attack within the game, even when they've struggled later in this second half. But they deserved that on the balance of play, really, especially from the first half. So now it'd be interesting to see what they do, whether they sit back a little bit and try and contain, or whether they'll go out for that second goal.
Well, there's the change of luck. We're just seeing a replay of it as Patrick Bamford comes on. Marcondes is on the floor. He plays it into the 6-yard box. Makama gets there, goes to the right of goal, plays it across, and the defender back on the line should clear it and gets to the ball, but somehow gets it tangled under his feet, and it goes into the net for an own goal. And it's Samare who got that ball just trapped between his feet and put it into his own net, and Norwich suddenly are level. They found a way back into it. But as we were watching the replay of that goal, another flex of the muscles from Chris Wilder. He's taken off his goal scorer Danny Ings, and he's brought on Patrick Bamford, who's now alert to try and get on the end of the throw-in. Medic has headed it behind. Bamford's made a promising start to his Sheffield United career. 2 goals in his first 4 appearances, and again Norwich can't find a striker, and Sheffield United have got the surplus.
Again, yeah, they've still got enough on the bench, and like you say, he's got pedigree. If he gets that chance, then he'll be more than likely to put it in the back of the net, so they'll be looking to keep him contained immediately from being on.
Corner to Sheffield United, it's 1-1, it's game on. Harmer delivers the corner high towards the far post. It's headed away by Norwich, and Mundell Smith completes the clearance. It's going to be looped back into the penalty area, though. It's bounced in the Norwich box. Medic gets his head to it and does enough to get it back to the goalkeeper. Yeah, Jibril Samare, I just had another chance to see the goal again. I'll come back to that in a moment, because Norwich are breaking with Forson on the right-hand side. Forson sends it across here towards Mundell Smith, who's free in the penalty area, but there's too much on the pass, and it goes behind for a goal kick. There's a famous goal, was it Jimmy Traore at Liverpool once scored there was a famous own goal that he scored, where he just got the ball stuck between his legs on the goal line and it went in. It was just like that. Makama he was too wide to have a shot, and all he did was just put the ball into the 6-yard box, and it was on the line, and Jibril Samare went to clear it and ended up kicking it against his own standing foot, didn't he?
He did, the old right-left in that situation.
Yeah, but it's the change of luck that Norwich might need. 1-1. Game on at Bramall Lane. Still a quarter of it to go. Here's Harmer for Sheffield United, finding O'Hare on the left-hand side. Plays the ball towards Burrows in the penalty area to the left of goal. He's gone down. Under the challenge of Maatsen, referee tells him to get up. Norwich might want to counter-attack here with Forson. Sends the ball towards Marcondes, but it took an age to arrive to him, and any impetus, any momentum went out of the attack. But Marcondes has swept it to the left-hand side in Cresceni. Well, how have Norwich got themselves back into this one? They've lost Sargent, they've lost McLean, they went 1-0 down, but they've got themselves level. And even when the goal was scored, there were several times where it looked as if the chance had gone, because it's a bit like, I don't know whether you saw the Bruno Fernandes goal last night for Manchester United against Wolves, when he was down on the floor at one point, wasn't he, and still managed to score. Well, it was a bit like that with Marcondes. Here's Jacob Wright for Norwich City, sending a high ball towards the left-hand side. Mundell Smith, the young winger, is on as a substitute, takes it in his stride. Up to the penalty area goes Mundell Smith, and then plays a poor pass towards Marcondes, and behind it goes for a goal kick. And another change coming for Norwich City. Mate Jurasek, the Czech winger, getting ready to come on. 1-1. What an intriguing game of football we've got here, Ryan Bennett.
It is, yeah, and the last 5 minutes has opened up. It's gone end-to-end, and the subs have come on, and they have been positive every time they've got the ball. They've drove it to the defence, and they're open for one of their moments to break to them and obtain that goal that they need.
The ball is headed on by Sheffield United. Maatsen and Cannon battling with it. Mundell Smith helping out as well. He's learning fast on the job here in the Championship. Fourth time he's come on as a substitute, Mundell Smith. Trying to make his mark at Bramall Lane, but it's defensively he's needed now as Brooks finds the stocky Harmer in the penalty area. Ferocious shot from the angle from Harmer, and the keeper turns it aside. Good save from Kovacevic, because Harmer just didn't stand on ceremony. Took that shot on so quickly, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Caught him by surprise, to be honest. I thought he was going to look to square that across the box to Bamford, who was running in a promising position. You know, he took the shot with great pace, and it turned out to be a good save that he's turned around for the corner.
Corner to Sheffield United, 1-1, 20 minutes to go. Harmer gets ready with it. On the right-hand side, Norwich want to get Anis Ben Slimani onto the pitch as well as Jurasek, but not until this corner's taken by Harmer, high and hanging towards the far post, looping header behind. So this will be a rare thing. Norwich are going to make 6 changes today. Although are they? Because Jurasek's just got put the tracksuit top back on again. And Slimani is going to come on, and this is another return for Norwich City. Slimani, who is going to replace Jacob Wright. What have you made of Wright's contribution today, Ryan?
I thought he's been very good, to be honest. I mean, in the first half, he picked up some lovely areas between pockets. He showed great intelligence, really. He pulled out wide, he would stay central, and he was really looking to sort of stay in space. And sometimes that's a hard thing to do, you know, because sometimes you do have to stand still. And there was moments that the Norwich had the ball at the back, and he was constantly within that space, causing problems for the defenders, whether they drop, and the centre-backs, whether they step in, you know. And I was really impressed.
And Slimani, who's just come on, was signed from Sheffield United by Norwich City last season. Only played 19 games for Sheffield United. He was coached as a young player in Denmark by Johannes Torup, so was encouraged to make the move to Norwich City. Had an injury hit first season with the club. That was a handball by Errol Mundell Smith. It's not been given. Sheffield United got the ball back anyway. And back it goes to the goalkeeper, who clears upfield. And it did look at the start of the season as if Slimani was out of favour. Liam Manning had said he can pretty much go. He then got an injury, and lo and behold, there's a change of head coach, and Slimani's back in the mix. And he's got a chance to impress against his former club. Coventry lead 1-0 at Preston. All played forward by Norwich City. 1-1 at Bramall Lane. 19 minutes to go. We're going to see the full force of the Sheffield United striking line-up here. We mentioned the 4 attackers. We've already seen Ings, and we've got Cannon still on the pitch, and Bamford, and now Tyrese Campbell is going to come on. Player who gave them the lead in the playoff final last year, before they eventually were beaten by Sunderland, who made that dramatic comeback. O'Hare is coming off for Campbell to come on. And we're also going to see Cannon being replaced here by Alex Matos. Alex Matos was in the Norwich Academy. He's a youth team player at Norwich City, left to go to Chelsea in 2023. Now he's ended up at Sheffield United after making just 2 appearances for Chelsea. Throw in there for Norwich. Mundell Smith almost onto it, gone through to the goalkeeper. Sheffield United looking for a 5th straight win. I think Chris Wilder's going for it, isn't he? Putting Campbell onto the pitch as well now.
He is going for it, yeah, certainly. I mean, they're attacking substitutions, and that's the bench that he was blessed with, that he's able to do that. But you know, in turn, that can produce some open areas when they do lose the ball that the Norwich can exploit going forward. 1-1.
Norwich getting back level in this game despite losing Josh Sargent and Kenny McLean to injury. An own goal from Djibril Soumaré, providing an equaliser. Marcondes has now been caught as he plays the ball, and yeah, I think that is a free kick. Tanganga's complaining, but he was late. And it's going to be a free kick to Norwich just over the halfway line. 18 minutes to go. Whatever happens from here, Ryan, and it's maybe clutching at straws, you tell me, but having lost Sargent, having lost McLean, then going a goal down early in the second half, I think there's a concern that the roof could cave in a bit for Norwich tonight, but it hasn't. They've really kept going, haven't they?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's definitely a performance they can be proud of, and that's from the first minute as well. That's not luck. You know, they worked hard. They showed that commitment. They've kept their heads up when they've had the negativity to deal with, and you know, that's going to stand them in good stead as well from now to the end of this game and throughout the rest of the season. But it's been very, very positive for Norwich.
It's 1-1. They've got a free kick on halfway, which Kellen Fisher will send forward towards the Sheffield United penalty area. Medic is up. He's won the header. It's fallen back here for Maatsen, though. Now Forson, long way out, plays the ball into the box. McConville gets a touch. Campbell back defending for Sheffield United. Clears the ball out of play for a throw-in. Sheffield United 1, Norwich 1. 17 minutes to go. Philippe Clement, tall, slim, black coat on, takes a long swig of drink on the side of the pitch as he watches Norwich City get to grips with the Championship survival battle without some of their key players. Clever touch from Marcondes now to Slimani. Back to Maatsen in the midfield. Medic with a cushioned ball to McConville. Norwich passing it around with a bit of confidence here. Maatsen to Crescenny on the left-hand side. Crescenny gives it to Errol Mundle-Smith. Level with the Sheffield United penalty area. Crescenny inside. Now here's Maatsen to Slimani. Back towards the halfway line. He's been caught in possession. Norwich could have a problem here because the goalkeeper was off his line, but it's a poor pass from Matos, who's just come on, and Norwich have got it back. Let off the hook there, and they're going to respond by taking the game straight to Sheffield United with Crescenny coming forward from left back. Mundle-Smith outside him. Here's the youngster, level with the penalty area, tries a step over and he's flagged offside. That was almost a lot of good work being undone there by one mistake.
It was promising, to be honest, from Sheffield United, and in fact it was actually the fans who created the fear that made him make the pass, and then as soon as he made the pass the fans turned and gave him the negativity of the boo, you know. So that's what the effect of the fans can have sometimes.
It's gone back to the goalkeeper, Cooper, for Sheffield United, passes it out to Tanganga, who's immediately under pressure from Marcondes, and the ball goes out of play for a throw-in for Norwich City, and Marcondes is telling Forson to pick up the ball and get on with it, because he thinks there might be an opportunity. From the throw-in, Norwich have ended up working it back towards the halfway line. Here's McConville, 15 minutes to go. BBC Radio Norfolk, Sheffield United 1, Norwich City 1. Canary call coming up with Ryan Bennett and Rob Butler. Lovely play there from Maatsen and Slimani, and Maatsen will now come forward but will have his through ball intercepted. Norwich though battling hard, they've won it again, much to the disappointment of the Sheffield United supporters. Norwich in possession. On the attack with Crescenny to the left hand side, and Mundle-Smith, who's onside this time, returns the ball to Crescenny on his return from injury. Back towards the halfway line, and here's Medic. Medic closed down by Bamford, has to play it short to McConville. Now Fisher. Sheffield United are pressing here, but Fisher's got the gumption to get away from Harmer and make a great run forward and find Marcondes on the edge of the penalty area. Gone down, no foul, and then for a long, long way out, and Uncle Forson sends the ball up kindly, I could say, goalwards, but it's ended up almost as far away from the goal as where it started.
Yeah, he's undone all the good work there, to be honest. I mean, he selfishly tried to take the shot when it wasn't the best option. There was multiple other options he had, and one was to go wide. And that's the option I believe he should have took, you know. But again, Kellen Fisher doing well, driving the team up the pitch from a deep area. He's done that all night. He's done it very well.
He really has. Yeah, he's had a good game tonight, Kellen Fisher. Right back. 14 minutes to go. 1-1 at Bramall Lane. Norwich aren't hanging on for a point either, having got back to 1-1 with that own goal. Mundle-Smith for Norwich City gives it to Pelle Maatsen. Maatsen aims one forwards, cut out well by Bindon at the back there. New Zealand international Tyler Bindon. It's a throw into Sheffield United on halfway. Sariki takes it. Crescenny spots the danger, clears up towards the halfway line. Sariki again for Sheffield United. Closed down by Mundle-Smith. It's a fair challenge, and now Marcondes dragged back by Samare. That has to be a yellow card. Not having a great night, Samare. Own goal. And I suppose he'll say he had to take one for the team there, because Norwich again winning the ball high up the pitch.
He did have to take one for the team, but again, credit to Norwich again on that regain, that repress, and they did that early in the first half and sort of lost their way a little bit by doing that. But again, it's been drove by the manager. I've noticed a few times now him gesticulating to his team, to his players, and giving them real encouragement of when they are pressing really high and winning the ball back, and that's keeping the team going and it's driving them forward.
It says a lot for Philippe Clement, this performance, doesn't it? Because despite everything that's gone against them, the players stuck to their task. They seem to understand what's being asked of them. Still 12.5 minutes to go, 1-1. Fisher is going to send this free kick towards the Sheffield United penalty area from deep. It's high, it's hanging, it's in the box, it's there to be won. It's been cleared as far as Makama on the edge of the box. Makama from the right corner of the penalty area has got 3 Sheffield United players with him, so he's taking it out wider still, and he's ended up getting tackled. Just couldn't find the room to deliver it. Forson snapping in, trying to win it back up the pitch, but Sheffield United will now break. Pelle Maatsen tries to make a challenge, but the Blades have got away on the left-hand side. Harmer with a clever touch, and there's Fisher back defending, and it's a Sheffield United throw-in. This is going to be a frantic end to the game now. 12 minutes to go. Both sides want the 3 points, and at the minute, it's all square, 1-1. Interesting to see whether Norwich do make another change, because I was told at half-time that the Sargent change was a concussion substitute, so I think they should be allowed to make another one if they want to, unless, of course, we'll see that it may be decided that they've used all of their opportunities anyway, but we'll see. Here's Brooks, right-hand side for Sheffield United, shaking off Crescenny. They're on the attack now, level with the penalty area. Gets past Slimani, but Norwich will clear it away with Medic. Down goes Makama, fouled by Bindon. Yeah, free kick to Norwich City. You can hear that the South Yorkshire native didn't like that decision, but I know you'll, of course I'd say this, watching Norwich City, but I can see exactly why that was given, can't you?
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's giving problems, to be honest, in them areas. Bindon, again, he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, but he's got his body in really well on numerous occasions, not just then, and he has caused him problems. He's beat him in the air a few times, and again, they're getting the ball down and drawing the foul, and he's put a real shift in for his team, to be honest, since Sargent's gone off.
Just seen your old teammate Declan Rudd, who's now the Norwich goalkeeping coach, come to the side of the pitch and send some sort of message out there onto the field. Long free kick from Norwich, helped on by Makama. Marcondes will keep it in by the corner flag on the left-hand side. He'll give it to Makama. Play that to Marcondes again on this left wing. 11 minutes to go, 1-1. Here's Preseni. Philippe Clement pointing, shouting, getting instructions across to his team here as they bid to try and go in front. Makama this time is penalised for the foul as he went backing into Sariki, and it's a free kick to Sheffield United. Go to their own penalty area, and they'll get on with it as well. They would like the 3 points. They would like to make it 5 wins out of 5. 1-1. Canary call to come on BBC Radio Norfolk. Ryan Bennett making his debut, taking your calls. I know he's looking forward to it. Alongside Rob Butler, your text messages and everything else as well that you want to send their way. Get them in. We're on the air until about 10:30 tonight from Bramall Lane, and we'll also talk to Philippe Clement and see if we can get the latest medical bulletins on all sorts of matters for Norwich City. McLean, Sargent, Quisgarin, all suffering injuries either tonight or in the build-up to the game. Sariki now for Sheffield United on the right-hand side. Mundell Smith has got back but can't make the challenge. It's a good run from Sariki, but Preseni has stood and has made the challenge and then plays the ball off for Sariki and behind for the goal kick. And Norwich are going to make a 6th substitution. Mate Jurasek, the Czech winger, is going to come on. Had the ignominy of being sent on and then substituted 16 minutes later a few weeks ago against Oxford, but Philippe Clement made it clear that that wasn't going to count against him long term, and if he did all the right things he'd get another chance, and that latest chance is about to come. I wonder, looking at, he's already had to change most of the attacking players. I can only think it might be Makama who'll have to come off, because Norwich might need him for Saturday. Long kick from Kovacevic, spills into the midfield. Maatsen goes into battle once again, as he likes to do. It's out of play, throw in, Sheffield United have it. Brooks is he's got a long way forward here. He'll take the throw in. The referee says no, it's got to go back, and Sariki will take it instead. Quite a long few instructions being shouted into the air of Mete Jurasek by Philippe Clement. He's about to send him on, but not before Sheffield United have taken this throw in. Here's Campbell, gets into the penalty area towards Bamford. Good block tackle comes in from McConville, and the ball holds up on a patch of mud there by the byline and doesn't go out for a corner, and McConville's able to retrieve it and clear it upfield, and Makama heads it on but can't find a teammate. Given away though by Tanganga to Maatsen, who's sent to ground. A challenge from Sariki, and it's a free kick for Norwich City, and this will be it is Makama coming off, who again, I think the way this is going and the way that the players have been getting injured for Norwich City, there's a fair chance that they're going to need Jovan Makama to put in a really good shift on Saturday if Sargent and Quisgarin can't play. And he hasn't got his goal tonight, but he was instrumental. It was his cross that Samare turned into his own net for 1-1.
He has been, to be honest, and they are going to lose that little bit of physicality that they had up there. I mean, he was getting the better of Bindon. Again, since speaking about it before, he's beaten twice again in the air in the only two duels that he's had with him, you know. So that was an area that they could have utilised, but obviously they've lost that now, and hopefully Jurasek can come on and have the same impact.
Well, winger, we've been waiting for Mate Jurasek to have an impact, really, for Norwich City. Is it going to be as a striker? Now, Mundell Smith has headed the ball towards the edge of the box. It's scrambled away. Oh, and then Slimane is caught out by Sariki. It's a foul. And Sariki thought he was going to be released here to break away, but the free kick has been given to Norwich City, halfway inside the Sheffield United half. Mate Jurasek is on. It's his 14th appearance today for Norwich City. Only 3 league starts. They spent big money on him last January, and he struggled to make an impact, but now Norwich need him. Good news for Norwich tonight, they're through to the 4th round of the FA Youth Cup after beating Stoke 2-1 at Carrow Road. They had to come from behind to win that one. Are they going to come from behind here? 7 minutes to go, 1-1. But Norwich making the running at the moment. They've won a free kick halfway inside the Sheffield United half. But another performance that will give Norwich City supporters a bit of hope. Marcondes and Jurasek. It's Jurasek who sends the free kick into the penalty area, but no one's able to get on the end of it, and it's behind for a goal kick. And Rory McConville is looking at Jurasek as if to say, look, I'll run all the way up here from centre-back, that ball needed to be better, and there's a wry smile on Ryan Bennett's face. You've been there a few times?
Especially this time in the game as well, 83rd, 84th minute, when you're starting to breathe a little, you want the ball to come in the box and at least have a chance of getting on the end of it.
Yeah. Goodness knows how many miles you ran in your career going up and down. Now, Slimani's won the ball for Norwich City. They've released Jurasek here, who's stretching, just couldn't quite get on the end of it. Bindon with a good challenge. Now in goes Pelle Madsen with a flying challenge there. That's going to be a free kick to Sheffield United and a yellow card for the Dane. I think if you go to the Norwich City club shop and you want Pelle Madsen's name put on the back of your shirt, they should almost just splat loads of mud on the back of it as well, because it doesn't look like a Madsen shirt unless it's covered in mud the way he's playing at the moment. Swansea 1, Portsmouth 0. That's a bit of a crucial one towards the bottom of the Championship. We'll run through exactly what it all means and how far adrift Norwich are once we know the full-time score here. 1-1 at the moment with 6 minutes to go. Throw into Norwich City. Left-hand side. They've given a really good account of themselves tonight in difficult circumstances. Still 5 minutes to go. Crescenny is taking a bit of a breather on his return as he throws the ball to Slimani. Now Crescenny plays it forward. Nice touch from Jurasek back to Slimani, who's picked out Marcondes in a good position here. Now Kellen Fisher getting forward to good effect. He's got Forson outside him on the right-hand side. Forson sends it into the penalty area and it's blocked. Forson wins it back for Norwich City. Stretching, commits a foul on Harmer. And it's a free kick to Sheffield United. I thought he might have got the ball there, but doesn't seem to be too many complaints.
Yeah, it didn't look too. Listen, again, it's good play, and you want your players to be doing that, on that regain, on that repress when you lose it, and that's exactly what he's done. So you don't mind giving them fouls away because he's showing great intent to keep the ball forward and get another chance on the position that he was in.
Southampton were 3-0 up against West Brom. West Brom have got it back to 3-2 now. Norwich play Southampton on Saturday lunchtime at Carrow Road. Sheffield United play West Brom on Friday night. The ball bounced up there and hit Tanganga on the hand, but he's set his hands down by his side. Norwich fans think that could have been a free kick, but I think it would have been a bit of a harsh one. Here's Bindon on halfway, sending it forward. Bamford controls well for Sheffield United. Now Brooks on the right-hand side. Errol Mundell-Smith back defending. Brooks, though, has got the pass to the fair head. Bamford, edge of the penalty area. Good tackle from Pelle Madsen comes in. And now Marcondes brings it away for Norwich City. Looks to release Jurasek, but Sheffield United have intercepted. They've got the pass to Bamford, who's attacking from deep here. Campbell holds the ball up well. Works it towards the left-hand side. Opportunity for Burrows to deliver a high, looping, curling, teasing cross, headed down by Brooks. Might fall for Sariki in the penalty area. Can he get the shot away? No. Oh, Samare's shot from the edge of the penalty area is poor, and Norwich have cleared. Scored the own goal earlier on. Samare to get Norwich level. Had the chance to cancel that one out there, but couldn't. 1-1. 3.5 minutes to play, plus stoppage time. BBC Radio Norfolk, it's tense. All those Norwich fans in the bottom tier of the stand away to our left you can see them moving around, shuffling awkwardly on the spot. They're tense. They're watching their team. Now just make sure they don't lose this game, having given so much, given a good account of themselves for so long. It would be cruel if they were to lose it, but they've got to stick to their task defensively. Here's Sariki on halfway for Sheffield United. Samare floats it to the right wing. Brooks gets a touch. Takes it back towards the halfway line for Sheffield United. Then lifts the ball out towards the left-hand side. Forson's got to try and get out here to deal with Burrows, but Burrows has already released Harmer. Now Sheffield United are on the attack. Cross comes in from Burrows, blocked well by Fisher. Burrows gives it to Harmer on the left-hand side. Flashes one into the penalty area, and Bamford nearly got a touch, and the goalkeeper grabs it. And Bamford's now looking at the assistant referee, saying he was being held and should have had a penalty, but I don't think there's any chance of that. What did you think? There's nothing in that, was there?
No, I don't think so. No, he's always going to complain in them situations as well, especially knowing him. He's eager to score that goal, but looking for the best opportunity, which was a penalty in that moment.
You'd have played with him at Norwich, would you? Yes.
I would have
brief
done,
spell
yeah.
with Norwich that Patrick Bamford had on loan. Alex Neil a few years ago. Here's Forson coming forward for Norwich City. They've picked out Slimani in space against his former club. He's running across the pitch and he's managed to feed Crescenny here in the 89th minute. 1-1. Mundell-Smith, left edge of the penalty area, on the attack for Norwich City. Tries a cross which is charged down, and Norwich will settle for a throw in. Yeah, you always forget Patrick Bamford played for Norwich. 7 games in 2016. Didn't score. It's very much a becoming young player at that point. Minute and a half. Plus time added on. 1-1. Is there a winner at Bramall Lane tonight? Cresceni's throw. Marcondes on the edge of the penalty area. Sends it across here to Forson, whose attempted shot is blocked, but it's fallen for Fisher, who crosses from the right. Cleared away. Good header. They Norwich need to win it back here, and they do with Medic. Sheffield United think that there was a foul by Matson on Campbell. It's not been given. Quick pass from Forson is cut out at the back by Sheffield United, who can break now. If they're quick, they could have a man over. Bamford releases Brooks on the right-hand side. Chris Wilder urging his team on. Brooks running at Norwich City, a tied Norwich City. It's Brooks in the penalty area, plays it across. Medic cuts it out, and it's a corner. Last minute, 90th minute, Sheffield United have a corner, and it's 1-1. This is a huge moment now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's just, again, it's end-to-end. You know, both teams looking to actually win the game, but this is a moment for some cool heads and some composure now with the cross coming in to make sure this is not conceded, and they defend this situation well.
Everybody back for Norwich. This is where they've got to stay switched on. This is where they probably miss the height and the defensive prowess of a Josh Sargent, who went off with a concussion, or with a head injury we should say, in the first half. Kenny McLean not out there as well for Norwich. He's got injured in this game. And now Norwich have to defend a corner with 90 minutes almost up. The 800 or so Norwich fans are watching from the far end of the pitch. Burrows delivers the corner, curling towards the far post. It's a Sheffield United head that meets it. It's on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Campbell swivels and shoots wide. 6 minutes of time added on. Both sides will feel that's enough for them to go and get another goal, won't they?
They will, yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be at least one other chance, you know, especially the way both teams are attacking the game. It's been a great game to watch, and the last 10 minutes no teams have let up, you know, and they've showed great commitment to go and get that win.
All square, 1-1. Norwich were behind early in the second half through Danny Ings, but they hit back with an own goal from Jibril Samare after good work from Jovan Makama. And now Mladen Kovacevic gets ready with this goal kick, and there's no messing about, there's no playing it short, he goes long. Headed on by Marcondes. Sheffield United then get it back now with Brooks on halfway. Marcondes tussling with him, so's Cresceni. Norwich have emerged with the ball, but Sheffield United have emerged with a free kick. Real good full-blooded stuff on halfway there. Would you have enjoyed playing in this sort of game, Ryan? These are such big moments now, aren't they? So well contested.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know if I'd have enjoyed it. These are moments that are very good to look back on, but when you're in it, obviously the nerves are in there, and you know what's riding on the 3 points.
Yeah, clever flick from Bamford, wide to Sariki on the right-hand side. Mundell-Smith makes the challenge and wins the ball. Then tries to ride a challenge and does well to find Marcondes. He gives it to Matson. Now Matson sends the ball up towards the halfway line looking for Forson, but Tanganga gets there first for Sheffield United. McConville prevents the blades from breaking. Forson has a couple of goes at winning a header, doesn't on either occasion. And it's back to Sheffield United now, and Sariki, central position, urged forward by his manager Chris Wilder. It's come to Brooks on the right-hand side. More defending for Norwich to do here. Brooks corner of the penalty area. On his left foot, reverse pass. Not to a teammate, behind for a goal kick. Chris Wilder swings his arms and almost doubles over in frustration. Look at Philip Clement. He's got the palm down. He's just urging calm for his entire team here, isn't he? He knows that these moments are big, and this is where Norwich have got to stay as cool as they can. Look at the referee just looking at Kovacevic, telling him he's got to get on with it. Blackburn 1, Oxford 1. That's a big goal. Todd Cantwell with the penalty for Blackburn, the former Canary. And that really could help his former team, because Norwich need to make sure they don't get cut off at the bottom of the table. They could be getting a precious point here tonight. It's a point that I'm sure most Norwich fans would have taken before the game. But it's not over yet. High ball on halfway, won by determined Pelle Matson, helped on by Jurasek, but won again by Sheffield United. It's loose on halfway. Comes on the Sheffield United side. Bindon plays it forward. Cresceni gets the better of his man, but Errol Mundell-Smith is on his heels, and Brooks is able to steal it. And here now, after the pass from Sariki, it's Brooks, right-hand side, from the byline, taking on Cresceni, who's doing well to stay with him and gets the ball behind, and it will be a corner to Sheffield United. More nerves for those Norwich City supporters. It's confirmation that Swansea lead 1-0 against Portsmouth in the battle at the bottom of the Championship. Corner to Sheffield United. 3 minutes of stoppage time have been played, 3 remaining. Everybody back now for Norwich City. Gustavo Harmer lines up this corner, raises his left arm, right-footed, delivers the corner from the right-hand side. Oh, it's a Norwich head that wins it initially, and then Marcondes heads it further away. Comes to Sariki. Oh, Forson's nicked it, and Norwich are away! Forson's over the halfway line. He's by himself at the moment. Forson's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Takes the shot on. He's put it wide. What a chance that was to win it. A Magma Forson picked up the ball. I think it might have been saved by the keeper because Norwich had been given a corner. He picked up the ball inside his own half. Sheffield United had everybody forward. Forson just went and he sprinted away. And he was the only player one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but it's the longest one-on-one I've ever seen, and the keeper's denied him.
He probably had too long to think about it. I think without the touch, he's still going wide, and that's in that moment late on in the game. The energy's running low when you need that little bit of composure.
Norwich have got a corner though. It was actually a really good save from Cooper, having seen it again. What about that? Forson was away and Sheffield United didn't have anybody back.
Wow, they're the chances that you dream of in the last minute. Would have sent the fans wild and been a real big moment in this game.
And in Norwich's season as well, you just never know, do you? They've got a corner out of it and Forson's not going to go over and take it. In the 95th minute, corner from the right-hand side. Forson sent it into the penalty area, headed away. But now there's space for Callum Fisher to gather halfway inside the United half. He's going to clip the ball back into the box. McConville hits a shot across goal, and it's going to fade away for a goal kick. Well, that was the chance. Emmanuel Forson sent running away, and his life almost flashing before his eyes. I think you're right, as he was sprinting away.
With the way the game was going, there was always going to be at least one more chance, and Norwich found themselves having the best chance, and unfortunately weren't able to take it.
Oh, Emmanuel Forson. Would have been a really famous goal. 1-1 still. Here comes Sheffield United right at the end. Rossini clears. We are in the 6th minute of stoppage time. Forson going in for another header there. Free kick has gone Sheffield United's way. But the way Forson jumped into his man, there's been another collision involving Callum Fisher. And it's a free kick on halfway. Fisher's up. And Burrows is up after the clash of heads. And there's going to be one last chance maybe for Sheffield United to play the ball forward from deep that Norwich have got to see out.
There is, yeah, and I'm sure they should be being vocal now back there to make sure they do see this phase of play out.
Canary call coming up in a moment. 1-1 at Bramall Lane. Palmer, whose last set piece ended up with Norwich breaking away and very nearly nicking the game. This one though, he's struck firmly high towards the penalty area, headed across by Tanganga, flags up, offside. The Norwich defence has worked well there, and the flag has gone up for offside. And now we've got the 6 minutes of stoppage time are up. And a lot of Norwich fans, I think, would have taken a point before the start of this game. Ryan Bennett, I think the way it's gone, they definitely would have taken a point. I mean, they've had chances to win it, but the form that Sheffield United were in, the form that Norwich are in, to get a point here in these circumstances, losing Sargent, losing McLean. Yeah, they'll take a lot from this, won't they?
They have, and I think it's, even if you take the points away from the game in terms of getting the 1 or the 3, I think it's been positive, and they've showed real signs of positive momentum that can take forward.
Well, that is a good point for Norwich City. And the only disappointment is that it's not 3, because they could have won it. And Emmanuel Forson with that golden opportunity racing away in stoppage time, and he's now just buried his face in his shirt because I think he knows that he could have won that game for Norwich City and probably should have won it, because he was sent clean through from almost in his own half, bearing down on goal. Michael Cooper made the save, and Norwich had to make do with a corner. But I would say in the grand scheme of things, given everything that happened tonight, Norwich lost Josh Sargent in the first half to a head injury. He was looking very groggy when he went off. Kenny McLean didn't return for the start of the second half. Norwich already beset by injuries. They lost Sargent, they lost McLean, and you were worried about what might happen, especially when Danny Ings then tapped Sheffield United in front 5 minutes into the second half.